back. What an amazing Friday afternoon it has been. Let's get back to the calls. And what about Augie in New Orleans? Hello, Augie.
Hey, Paul. I admittedly, I had to take a decongestant today, so I didn't quite follow that last call. There was a lot in there. We went from the bus station to litter on the highway, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was like reading one of those novels where it's like 4 parts, and if you miss if you like fall asleep, you may not remember where you are.
Well, that's kind of what happened. I thought you had went to another caller, but I'm like, that sounds like the same guy. And he was talking about the bus station and lockers. I'm thinking, well, maybe Jimmy Hoffa's in one of those bus terminal lockers.
It reminded me a little bit of, remember the famous Beatles song, A Day in the Life, where it's two different stories going on at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. And he was very proud to have played for Coach McKissick. Now, I don't know who Coach McKissick was.
He's a famous high school coach.
Okay, well, my famous high school coaches were Robert Bingham and Rufus Nesbitt, but there you go. And, he was very proud about accomplishments of his family. So the only thing I got is that my turtle took top reptile in the South of Louisiana Pet Show in the spring of 19. So, sorry, that's all I got. But
John McKissick was the winningest coach. He coached in South Carolina. He was the winningest coach in high school football history.
I wonder about how he ranks against John Curtis. You know John Curtis, right?
Yeah,
New Orleans,
sure.
He's a famous coach. He's still coaching, and that guy's always winning. But
yeah, he just died recently. I think he won 10. I'll tell you what was famous about John McKissick. He was mentioned in Pat Conroy's famous book, The Prince of Tides.
Okay, I've got to read that one. Admittedly, I don't know about it, but Mariotti was your best guess since that lady, what was her name, Victoria Jackson?
And Victoria was quoted today in some newspaper. I'm reading, like it was USA Today. All of a sudden I saw Victoria. I didn't realize Victoria was an NCAA track champion, but we need to have her back when I'm paying attention.
You did, but Mariotti was great. And Mariotti made the most sense of anybody that has been on your show. And I'm glad you didn't bring up Ozzie Guillon to him. But I would have liked for you to ask him if he ever had to urge just a cold cock Plaschke in the mouth. That would have been a classic.
Yeah, there's a lot I would have liked to have asked Mariotti, but I don't know Jay. I've never met him before, so that was the first time.
I just remember, around the horn, he just seemed like an obnoxious guy from L.A. But Mariotti sounds like Eugene Levy from Second City TV. If you listen to him, you think you're hearing Eugene Levy. But talking about being quoted in the paper today, Paul, did you see the article in Saturdays Down South?
No.
You're quoted. Do you know a guy named Michael Wayne Bratton?
Yes, I know who he is.
So Michael quoted you, and he said that Paul Feinbaum has given up hope. The good news is he doesn't have any power in the matter, so there you go. But he did say you have the biggest platform in college football. So on the one hand, he giveth, on the other hand, he taketh away. And he did quote you by your comment on the NCAA statement that a third grader in Madison, Wisconsin could have put together a more cogent
yeah, that was on Golick and Wingo today.
Well, I'm glad you picked a third grader in Madison, Wisconsin, because if you were talking about Starkville, you probably would have had to have gone to an 11th grader, probably a freshman in Oxford. And if you were talking about Tuscaloosa, you'd probably have to go to somebody with a PhD. But Lou Holtz, talking about we just got to grow a pair and take risk like we did at Normandy. Does Lou not realize that Normandy was a life or death situation?
Yeah, well, no, I don't. But by the way, we have to go to. I was just relieved to know Lou is still among us. We'll be back with one more hour.
O'Reilly. Get your car ready for summer at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Oil? Check. Battery? Check. Wipers? Check. And don't forget your cooling system. Right now, get Peak Long Life Universal Pre-Mixed Antifreeze and Coolant for $12.99 a gallon at O'Reilly Auto Parts. And earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly
Auto Parts.
Imagine a coffee cup. It may seem small, but it comes from a small business, one of thousands on eBay. Powered by people, Millions of people, all over the country, all working to get you exactly what you want. And that's no small thing. That's everything. Get your thing on eBay.
For your Gulf Coast Sports Minute, I'm JP. Simply put, the UWF men's golf team is the gold standard in the Gulf South Conference, and that was reinforced earlier this week when 8 Argonauts and their coach were named to the GSC Men's Golf All-Decade Team. Chandler Blanchett was named Golfer of the Decade, and Coach Steve Fell was voted Coach of the Decade. Blanchett, along with Juan Miguel Heredia, Jacob Huizinga, Carlos Rodriguez, and Henry Westmoreland, were 5 of the 6 athletes voted onto the first team. Christian Basso was a second-team choice, while Ryan Black and Otto Bonning were honorable mentions. In our recruiting spotlight this week, Rasheed Lovelace for the Pine Forest Eagles. At 6'3", 300 pounds, this young man has incredible strength and the frame to go along with it. Lovelace has picked up offers from Vanderbilt and UAB, yet he is only a junior this year. He primarily played on the offensive line in 2019, but is looking to be the leader of that vaunted defensive line for new head coach Ronnie Douglas and the Eagles. That's your Gulf Coast Sports Minute. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
There are a lot of kids in this country who didn't have a parent at their baseball games or recitals because their parents were serving in faraway places. But now their parents are coming home from battle. Some with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Every day, Wounded Warrior Project assists wounded warriors and their families with the Warriors to Work program, a program that helps warriors translate their military experience to civilian job experience, and they help employers find the right warrior for the right job.
My mom used to be a tank programmer. Now she works with computers. I'm really glad she's home because I can't eat my dad's marshmallow macaroni anymore.
I was 2 when my dad went away to war. He was there for 3 of my birthdays. Now he's home and he's a logistics specialist.
If you're looking for proven professionals, contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
For This Week in Sports History, I'm JP. In 1898, Lizzie Arlington becomes the first woman to play professional men's baseball when she pitches the 9th inning for the Reading Coal Heavers against the Allentown Peanuts. In 1953, Phillies pitcher Robin Roberts hurls his 28th consecutive MLB complete game in a 2-0 win over Pittsburgh. In 1975, Wimbledon men's tennis, Arthur Ashe becomes the first African-American to win Wimbledon after beating countryman Jimmy Connors. In 1989, ex-Phillies third baseman Mike Schmidt becomes the first retired MLB player to be named to start the All-Star Game. He elected not to play. And in 2019, the LA Clippers acquired 2 NBA megastars in one day, Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard from Toronto and Paul George from Oklahoma City for an unprecedented trade bounty of players and picks. And we all know how that story ended. That's This Week in Sports History. I'm JP. JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. We love our hometown heroes like Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawk Doug Baldwin.
They fake, little lob, wide open, touchdown, Doug Baldwin.
Bigger body than Wilson likes to throw to, big target. Here's Baldwin, smaller target, and he ducks it for the touchdown.
Hi, this is Doug Baldwin, and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up on the Sports Drive, we'll get to more of the NBA getting set to go in Orlando, and you'll never believe who fell into a volcano.
just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, and it's caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Brooklyn beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest. 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
Happy Friday. Welcome to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Well, July 10th, we would be seeing the Blues fly over, having a weekend out there in Sabine. Do the same. Just, if you can go out there, social distance, be okay, do the same. Not telling people what to do, just saying, the water is still open. The people are still out there. You're just not going to get to see the awesome Blue Angels fly over. And, having a chance to work with a crew that covered the Blue Angels, learning the history. Boss McWhorter right there, Greg McWhorter, became a friend. We got to break it down on a teleprompter. Like, I've got to call some games for ESPNU, and that was the coolest thing I've ever done. Like, I felt like John Madden, boom, 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 over here, Pat. If you look over here, the guy's coming over here. Like, got to actually break down the Blue Angels, like flying in distance in the diamond formation at 700 miles per hour. Coolest thing I'm ever going to do. You can't really beat that. But I realize it's a different week we're in right now. Blab TV is going to be covering the opportunity with Molly Barrows, Christian Garmin, your awesome play-by-play guy. We love Christian. Go Sinners. And then also having a chance to work with David and the guys from CNN, where I'm going to just say, back in the day, he worked there in the 80s. Different CNN. We used to like them back in the day. But the difference is, make the best of the weekend you're at. How many sporting events, I've always joked about it but Georgia and Florida. I've been to 5 world's largest outdoor cocktail parties and been inside the stadium in 3 of them.
You're talking about the game, right?
No, I mean, just saying. Got to drink out of it right there at Senor Frogs. But most of the time when you look at it, about 90% is the fun and the excitement of it. So still enjoy it. Don't let it get to you today. Have fun this weekend. Enjoy it. I know it's going to be real hot out there. Get a sunburn, come back, get that raccoon tan going, and have some fun. I know the next guy we're going to talk about is going to do that all and more. JP, what's happening, my friend?
I am.
Yeah. Rashard Evans, good interview today, by the way.
Yeah, Rashawn Evans, it was good to talk to him.
A little salty seeing him.
Yeah, it was, it is funny that, of course, a lot of people here remember him not as a Tennessee Titans linebacker, but remember him as playing for the Crimson Tide, of course. It's interesting when you look at his backstory, though. Went to Auburn High School, grew up in Auburn. He was talking about it today. His entire family went to Auburn. including his brothers, sisters, mom, his dad. Mom has 4 degrees from Auburn, but went to Alabama. And the interesting path is his mother played a big role in that, obviously, making sure she goes, understand where you want to go and where you need to go. And that's where going to Alabama was where he needed to go, maybe not necessarily where he wanted to, as much as when he went on campus and meeting the coaching staff and everything. So it was awesome. I did ask him. I found out, of course, no surprise, that you did not hear this part of the interview. But I did ask him the question of what was it like to beat the Patriots. And I asked him that not solely just because it's the Patriots, but because of Vrabel and what's it like in that locker room. You know, Vrabel had a chip on his shoulder, with being able to take on Belichick, and you took down Lamar Jackson, and everything was so everybody was on a high right then, not a different kind of high, but taking down the Patriots and ending everything basically.
Using drugs, like you said. Continue though.
No, absolutely
not.
Yeah. But it was so funny because his voice, he perked up. It was like he got a little more energy just talking about it. And I think that's what's so cool, though, for these guys. And they wanted to prove to Belichick and them and everybody else that they meant to be where they were. And so he said after the game, of course, Vrabel was just unbelievable in the locker room. Like, you could tell what it meant to him and those guys. And that's why he believes, look, that they're going to come back and they're going to be better this year because it's a lot of the same guys. They like what they have coming back, but it was just cool to talk to him. It's a fresh perspective on things.
And he's always had that kind of that role at Alabama because if you think about his career, he got there at the same time there was a number of players part of that national title run when they were playing against Clemson. And one of the things about Evans is he had to pay his dues a little while. And he was the 5-star. There's every single time out of a class, there's one of him, a Dylan Moses.
He was the second highest rated linebacker in the country.
There's always that guy that expects to start immediately. Robert Kendici, him, like we said, Dylan
Reuben
Moses.
Foster, which, by the way, he played with Reuben Foster in high school. It was his teammate. So that was another thing he had talked about.
Both of them right there. And Reuben Foster got that Auburn tattoo right there from Auburn High, which people didn't understand always. But the thing with him is it was a great interview. Enjoyed talking to him, but yeah, a little salty with the Tennessee. I'm everything else you said, I completely checked out, but great career at Alabama. That's where we really see it.
Look, you got Cam Newton now.
Yeah.
All right. Apparently that's the game changer for you.
Stop it.
Stidham or Newton. Can't go wrong with either one.
Don't.
Or Hoyer. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Hoyer. I forgot. Look at this. Patrick Mahomes wearing his Coors Light shirt, by the way, for the whatever Open they're playing in. John Smoltz is supposed to win it, by the way.
His girlfriend's actually supposed to propose to him this week.
She's yeah. Well, no, she's done more than propose.
You could see him come out here. Patrick's like, well, I'm not ready.
Wait a minute.
Can we get this thing going? Can we get this thing going? $5 billion? Overall, though, it's a week where, yes, we're supposed to have the Blue Angels. We've got baseball pitchers and catchers are throwing the ball around, having some fun. It's getting back. But we had a big conversation today, a number of people today, and you can weigh in. Let's have fun on a Friday. Why not? 850-623-1330. People are hanging around their pools, having some fun. You're driving around. You're getting the weekend kicked off like the Blue Angels are out there. Party! Talk about what you see as college football. What do you see happening this year? Now, we're not going to go into like the Feinbaum level. You don't have to break down the whole season. But overall, tell us what you think is going to happen. Because personally, I think it's a good thing that these conferences are coming out now and talking about conference play. And I'll tell you why. Yes, in a perfect world, I'd love to have all the conferences playing, back to normal, fans tailgating before, driving the buses out there, partying the night before, getting ready, fist pumping at the club, doing everything that gets ready.
Well, you did that last night. That was last night, literally.
I'm just breaking down my night. Yeah, exactly. Are we talking football?
I didn't think so,
But what we need to understand is SIDs.
SIDS.
Sure.
It's like a terrible disease.
Sure. Why not there? Yeah. SIDs. The people that have to break down schedules, that have to go through all the semantics. There's a lot of people right now that are working on getting this season going. So think about it. If the Big Ten announces that we're going to go ahead and play a conference schedule, they're announcing on July 9th that we're going to play a conference schedule. So there are people out there printing out those one-sheeters like you see in the movie. Like, welcome to the Rutgers game. Let's get ready for Northwestern. Here we go, Illinois. So they're getting prepared to play that conference schedule, which means that 9 of those 12 games are going to happen based on what they made the announcement for. If we were sitting there around August 1st and we're all sitting there going, I don't know, no announcement, but got to hunker down. We can do this. We wouldn't know. And ultimately, it'd be easier for the league to say, you know what? Too many COVID tests. We're going to cancel the league. To me, after Florida State makes the announcement, and believe me, we saw this back on March 12th, like we say, Thursday the 12th. It's going to be a snowball effect. The SEC can do whatever they want, and frankly, they will be the last ones to be like, hey, we're going to play it out. But guess what? If the Pac-12, if the Big Ten, if all these conferences decide to go, we're playing conference schedule like Florida State talked about yesterday, that means that Florida State game ain't happening. So it doesn't matter what they think. They're not going to do that based on that the other team's not going to play them. Based on that alone, though, here's the deal with that. I would rather get all that out of the way going into August, have them practice, knowing they're playing a conference schedule, getting ready for the playoff like normal, then go ahead and wait and teeter-totter and sit there and not know anything. And then it gets to the point where right before the season's about to start, they go, we can't play. Because the USC-Alabama – look, JP, the USC-Alabama game is not happening. Would you agree with that? Regardless. That's not going to happen right now. I will say it's not going to happen. Because a neutral site game right now, they're not going to send 2 fan bases to a neutral site game.
Fan bases don't get to come anyway, but yeah.
Well, but that's the whole point of neutral site games, is to bring them into the hotels.
Well, now it's not. Now it's
for those
meeting in the
cities,
middle.
if I'm that city, I'm like, we're done. We're fine. Go ahead. We don't just want to see your 100 people. You know what I'm saying? We understand that.
But from when you have fans, it means something. Now you're talking about meeting in the middle.
But what I'm saying is those cities are going to cancel anyways. I'm telling you now, every city at the neutral site is going to cancel.
Jerry's World won't cancel. Make no doubt about that.
Why would they?
Think of
fans? Without fans, they wouldn't cancel?
With all the TV money and everything that's going to be in that, with Jerry's World being showcased, think about who you're talking about. He is not your typical hombre.
You think with Governor Newsom that any team out of your conference, Oregon, is going to play against anybody in week 1?
I have no idea. I don't. Because, and here, let me make this very clear to what you're saying. I'm not buying in that this is going to be a true snowball effect yet, because the Big Ten made the announcement. So what it means for all these other conferences is like, we don't have to necessarily make these announcements now. The ACC and the Pac-12.
I agree with that.
The ACC and the Pac-12 said they're not going to make an announcement till late July.
Which is fine.
The SEC is going to meet Monday, which everybody thinks they're going to make the announcement. Probably not. If the ACC and the Pac-12 of all people are going to wait to make their announcement, you can bet the SEC is too. The Big Ten, and look, I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen a week from now, a day from now, hours from now.
Don't lie to everybody. You have the answers.
I do,
you
but
met
I
with
can't
a guy
give them
out there.
away.
His name was Jerry.
That was for a different reason.
He cut off jorts in the parking lot.
But
he had
with
all
that
the answers.
being said,
he was also
the Pac-12, think about this now.
Yeah.
Larry Scott, commissioner of Pac-12, made a comment.
Big Larry, yeah.
Made a comment that playing football in the spring is very doable, and talking about moving it. The day after he makes that comment, they are working ASAP to buy out his contract. What that tells me is people. Here's what this is going to come down to. All these politicians, all these other people, that this necessarily doesn't affect when it comes down to the money, billions of dollars that will be a part of this when we're talking about college football. Money. And people can say, well, how dare the money, whatever. It's money, okay? Everybody knows money is what makes the world go round. Don't fool yourself. All that stuff. We all love our families. We all put our families hopefully first. We all put our faith first in all this. But money's a big dang part of our entire life, our livelihood. With that being said, that's where we have to understand. For these people who are like, how dare them put money ahead of these kids? Austin Reed tweeted yesterday, our quarterback here at UWF, and you can scoff, you can do whatever you want, but basically tweeted at NCAA and tweeted at the Gulf South Conference. 99% of us want to play football. We all understand the risk that it's going to take. Let's go. I think that's so obvious.
Yeah.
You talk with the majority of these players that and the thing is so funny is, Brett McMurphy and those guys, they poll certain players and whatever. The majority of them, regardless of how you poll, want to play football. And people are like, well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to listen to kids. Well, I'm not saying that we should listen to kids. What I am saying is that's a big part of this because these are the guys that are going out there and doing it. It's different if you're saying you guys are going to do it. You don't have a choice. They do have a choice. But everybody wants to play football. Everybody wants to see all these games. For the money and all this other stuff. Look, if they go conference-only schedules, I want to make this very clear. These group of 5 teams they will drop like flies. A lot of them. A lot. It's already going to be hard enough because of the money they make from playing these other teams, all the revenue, especially if we don't have fans, regardless of whatever happens, if short capacity. Heck, I know they don't have a ton, but they still have revenue coming in like that. The majority of these small schools are going to be ruined. And this is not going to be for next year, they'll be back. No, this is going to be for the next 3 or 4 years. This will affect people, just like it's affecting businesses right now. These businesses won't just be able to hop back and jump in the saddle and be able to, everything's full-fledged moving on. The reason that I'm not going to say Alabama USC is a no, or this is going to be a snowball effect, is because that's like saying or thinking that I got it all figured out right now of, okay, this person did it, so everybody's going to do it. On the surface, I'm thinking about that, but at the same time, you have to go back and look at numbers. And with the ACC and the Pac-12 making that comment today, when everybody said the ACC was going to make their comment that they were going to do conference only today, and yet it's moved to late July, now I'm sitting here going, I have no idea. So now these guys are thinking about it. With the Big Ten making that decision, no other conference has to say anything. They don't have to say a word now. It doesn't. If you're the ACC, what good does it come out right now? Because they're talking to the athletic directors. These guys know what's going on. The people that matter know what's going on.
But it doesn't. But to your point, and a lot of what you're saying I agree with, but what I'm saying is it doesn't matter now what you as an Oregon fan feel about that Oregon-Ohio State game because Ohio State has already said they're not doing it.
Right.
So this isn't a match made in heaven. One of the teams, if they back out, so if it comes down to, let's say the SEC is like the last one standing, like one of these Survivor shows on TV, it doesn't matter if the other 4 major conferences say no because they don't play anybody. You see what I'm saying?
But with this being said, these other with the Big Ten not reschedule, or they're going to cancel all these other games. It opens up for other people pick up games. Like Oregon's going to pick up a game. If they decide to not play conference only, whatever it may be, they're going to pick up games. There's going to be people. Look, everybody has talked about the word that has been key this entire time is flexibility. It is going to be flexibility. SEC said it. Pac-12 said it. ACC, Big 12, Bob Bowlesby come out. He said it as well. That's the one thing where the Big Ten may have shot themselves in the foot when it's all said and done.
I mean, these are the games that are going to be affected. Ohio State at Oregon, Iowa State at Iowa, Michigan at Washington, Wisconsin at Notre Dame, Appalachian State at Wisconsin, Miami at Michigan State, Penn State at Virginia Tech, and Cincinnati at Nebraska. Those are the big ones so far with their announcement. It's going to snowball effect with all of them. But let's be real clear with all of that. The regular season for a lot of the fans comes down to conference anyway. Like if you're a Penn State fan, you're like, I want to get a piece of Michigan and I want to get a piece of Ohio State to win that conference. If you're an Auburn fan, you want to be able to upset LSU and you want to be able to upset Alabama. If you're Florida, you want to beat Georgia. Most of it comes within conference anyway, whereas the championship we know already, to me, I mean, I don't have to be some soothsayer god up here with like some magical flute to know right now that Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, and maybe an Oregon or an Oklahoma is a great title game, or LSU, and that's probably going to be the case. That's probably going to be who's going to be there. In the history of the college football playoff, there has only been 11 teams, which goes to show it's consistently the same teams. Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State and Oklahoma have pretty much been the norm. Then you get Florida State, Oregon, Auburn's been in there. I've claimed UCF, but they didn't get in there. But all these teams have been, you had Michigan State and Washington sprinkled in, but it's been the same consistency every year. So all of these conference games pretty much have ended in the same result. So the conference schedule or not, those games between LSU and Alabama is going to make the difference anyway between who goes.
But I'm not arguing that.
I mean,
but
it's not going to change a ton.
To say it's going to have a snowball effect, I'm not going to agree with right now, because guess what? The cutting only down the conference cuts you down to so many games, where these teams, we know they're going to try to get as much money and play as many games as they can, because the TV, if there's no fans allowed, the TV money is going to be outrageous anyway. So to automatically go ahead and cut out 3 games, we'll just say 3 at a minimum, maybe 4 depending on how your conference is or whatever, that's a lot of money. And that's why I don't believe it can happen for sure. Will it happen? Well, we'll see. I don't know, because once again, we're talking about playing a season basically less than 2 months now, but we've seen this within a couple weeks. We flattened the curve. Everything was like, people went literally one day to, well, this is not going to happen, to 100%. This season's going to happen. Look, we flattened the curve. Things are looking great. So that's why I'm not going to fall for the media's like, oh my God, it's over. Look at them. They cut their season. Oh, geez, everybody. I'm not going to do that yet, because I feel like that's what they want. It's the easy way out on that. I'm going to wait and see.
Yeah, but these business loans.
3 or 4 games, a lot of money for these teams, just to say right now, to go out and say, nope, ain't going to happen.
But who knows if those business loans, they make more on those games than they even would have played them. You know what I'm saying? We live in that world.
We'll see.
We do.
We'll see.
We're not seeing
little bit different with college football.
We just get to talk about it, but we don't see
a little bit different with college football. Otherwise, that decision would have already been made.
I'm making a phone call tomorrow. We'll come back. We'll talk some more on the games coming up here. We'll get to more on what's going on right now with some of the players in the NFL talking about getting back into the swing of things as NFL Hard Knocks getting set to go next week, and the NBA returning back to Orlando. Rajon Rondo not happy about his 5-star room. We're coming back for more.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
Here's a message from our sponsor, ZipRecruiter. Right now, we cannot be overwhelmed. We have to work to keep our loved ones safe and protect our communities. We have to work to build new solutions. But for this to work, we have to work together. At ZipRecruiter, we connect employers and people every day. But today, we're partnering with the medical community, manufacturing, and food distribution to find the right people for the right jobs right now. Let's work together. ZipRecruiter.com/work together.
At Sprint, we understand saving money for your family is now more important than ever. That's why we're offering our best unlimited deal. Switch and get 4 lines of unlimited for just $100 a month. That's right, 4 lines for $100. Plus, the plan includes Hulu, 500 megabytes of mobile hotspot, DVD quality streaming, and more. If that's not enough, to really amp this up, we're including 4 amazing iPhone 11s on us when you trade in iPhone 6s or newer in any condition. And now, Sprint customers enjoy access to expanded coverage on the T-Mobile network. Shop from the comfort of your home at Sprint.com, call 800-SPRINT-1, or come see us in our stores. Phone after $29.17 per month credit for 18 months credit. Apply within 2 bills. If canceled early, remaining balance due. Requires new account. Unlimited basic after $731.21. Pay $35 per month per line with autopay. Data deprioritization during congestion. Coverage and offer not available everywhere. Excludes taxes, fees, and roaming. Speed maximums use rules. $30 activation fee and restrictions apply.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Welcome to AutoZone.
Working on an oil change? We can help you get started. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 synthetic high-mileage motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $31.99. And if you need it fast, you can get it fast your way. Whether it's next-day delivery or free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside. The choice is yours. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Over the last few months, we've realized that those excuses of not doing yard work, you've had to pay up. No excuses to get fat eating a bunch of rancid chicken wings and 3 pitchers because it's football Sunday. Tired of trying to pronounce names overseas at 4 a.m. that we don't know in Korea in baseball. But sports is coming back, and we're optimistic to carry all the biggest games on the Sports Drive, 5 to 7 each and every night on ESPN Pensacola. Thank God all of this didn't happen during college football season.
We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station, ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. This is the best I've seen all week. The memes are great out there on social media. Whether you agree with them or not, they've been pretty funny. Saw the one today with Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend being like, "You coming home?" Don't have to get into that. Big Ben's not a fan of Nashville Predators. He's offended by that name. Just saying. I know you brought that up. But Will Muschamp. This is the article right here. Will Muschamp running out of chances at South Carolina. Like, they're realizing that now during quarantine, during
chances?
why are we figuring that out now? Like, we're sitting here in July. If this was a perfect year where everything was fine and we had the South Carolina game, everything's good. The spring game happened, battling out for quarterback, Solinsky, everybody's throwing. You still would be thinking that. Why does that have to come out now? Like, we all know that a 4-8 Will Muschamp should have never got the job anyway. Like, why is this now we're figuring out Will Muschamp running out of chances? Like, he should have been that one where the guy that spent $8, on the crane game to pick up, like, the toys, where you get the scooper. We all know that. The claw game where you're not going to win, but you're trying to show off. You're like, I'm going to get this. You end up spending like $6 for like a $2 toy. But ultimately, it doesn't matter about that $2. You just want to get that toy. Doesn't matter at that point. You're so annoyed by this game, you're like, might spend $20 to get this thing right here. Go down to a dollar store and do that. We've all been there. We've all been there with the toy. If you're lying right now to yourself, if you have not been in one of those moments with the crane, with the claw, that you have not been conned.
The competitor comes out.
We've all been that.
Don't want to fail.
I look back now, and if the guidance counselor would have said, can we own one of those claw games? That's what we should have done. We should have just bought those around the nation. Been millionaires. Spent about $100 myself last week. But when it comes down to it, Will Muschamp has ran out of his choices. Like, we're just now at that point where we're still trying to get that toy, and regardless of it, he's not going to go out there and go 11-1 and redeem himself. We know that. So, like, what they're trying is like, hey, maybe he goes out there and goes 6-6. All right, Will, what's a Padawan? Like, we're not. Why is this article coming out now? He should have been out there a long time ago. I'd rather take my chances in one of these slick Ricks like a Lincoln Riley that, like, although Big Game Bob was good, Lincoln Riley's had 3 straight guys go number 1 pick, Heisman Trophy, and go to a college football playoff in Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and what's happened now with Jalen Hurts, 2nd rounder. I'm just saying right now, like, this should not be news to anybody, even South Carolina fans. Like, he's not a good coach. He's a good coordinator.
It's not going to be good. Looking at their schedule, if they go conference only, He loses Coastal Carolina.
Uh-oh.
East Carolina.
Uh-oh.
And Wofford.
Well, based on that.
They play Clemson, LSU, Georgia.
All right, let's
Texas
go
A&M.
quiet. Let's go through. Start off again. Here we go.
All right, I'll start at the top of their schedule
right.
now if you guys conference only. Missouri. I'm going to take Drinkwitz on that.
I'll take Drinkwitz too.
Because
yeah.
that defense is really good.
At Missouri?
No, they get it home.
Okay, I'll go a sec. I'll give him the benefit.
Okay.
Let's just
so you're
let's
saying
praise
he wins
him.
that one.
All right, we'll give him a little love.
At Kentucky wins that game.
Yep.
At Florida.
All right, 1 and 2.
Home against Tennessee.
I'm trying to give them the benefit here. So 2 and 2. Let's say they're 2 and 2, and we're giving them benefit, right?
Texas A&M.
Okay. 2 and 3.
Vanderbilt.
3 and 3.
Georgia. LSU and Clemson. Yeah, let me move through.
Yeah. Okay. 3 and 6 now.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
So they're 3 and 6.
Oh wait, not Clemson. I'm sorry, no Clemson because they're not conference. So
3 and 5, and that's at best. And we gave them
2.
All 3 of the games that they won or whatever are by we gave them the
the only one that's not a coin flip is Vanderbilt. The other 2 that we gave them are coin flips. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Missouri, no idea what Drinkwitz. Drinkwitz could help. We know that defense.
We gave them
a
Tennessee and Missouri. We gave them Tennessee, Missouri, which are not. Yeah. So.
And Tennessee's supposed to be pretty good, but we'll see what happens.
He should have been. I mean, he's not a good coach.
I mean, the thing is, the crazy thing about this, and he's not going to be fired this year either, regardless, because I guarantee you there'll be maybe, unless something crazy happens, very few coaches fired because of COVID-19. I think that they're going to get the benefit of the doubt more often than not.
Uh-oh. Notre Dame has reported they've already claimed the national title. They're undefeated in conference play.
I thought they were going conference only.
They have not. They're not going to lose in conference play this year, so everything is okay.
So they're just going to be in the playoff
right there. They're
straight to the playoff.
They're going to show NBC celebrations of them just partying on the field every single game.
By the way,
pretty good right there.
Desmond Howard said this morning on Get Up, talking about Notre Dame not being in a conference. If they're left out in the cold because of decisions they made not to ever join a conference when they had the opportunity to join the ACC multiple times, then I think that's their problem, and it comes back to bite them in the butt. He basically told Notre Dame to kick rocks. Like, he doesn't care. He's not sympathetic. I feel the same way. Notre Dame joins these conferences, and we all know that in football they're not joining any conference. I'm not going to say it has to be the ACC, but any conference for the dollar signs because the peacock.
Yeah.
We all know that. Right there. Yeah. So the NBC stuff. So
that's right.
You know what?
They're going to split. They've already split the profits of The Apprentice, Like
what if the ACC was like, now you have to join if you want us to on? They have like 6 games, I think, in the ACC this year. What if the ACC is like, you want them? Come on. Join. Either join or you don't get them.
During this time right now is not the time that most people around the world are going to feel bad for the big dogs. Nope. Like when Rajon Rondo said, this looks like a Motel 6, and they were pulling into what looked like a penthouse in Mexico and was a beautiful bed, looked normal. Like, I don't know if he expected gold-plated sharks swimming through there. Like he was at a Miami Marlins game, like in the front row with that. Like, I'm sorry. That wasn't going to happen.
You know what would have made that room? A pair of Mickey ears.
That's right.
In the hotel room, that's probably like $5,000.
I was going to say that costs
like $5,000 a piece if it's in the hotel room.
$1.50 to make and like $75 per person right there. But look, these athletes are used to something, but it gets to a point where we realize, though, that
you're just preaching to the choir. They got Mickey waffles this morning. How about that?
We had Mickey waffles this morning with Layton, too. Yeah.
How much were they?
Not much.
Okay.
Elsa. She goes, what was on them? Elsa or Olaf? And I said, I don't know. We put peanut butter on them. I don't know what's on it right now. But same waffle. Just eat it. But we should understand, though, that if anybody is complaining about the little things, they don't understand what's going on. Because we're not going to have anything in 2020. Heck, for that matter, we don't know going forward. Because we're only expecting from some of the media, like big surges coming forward, could get worse based on what we're seeing. Or shut off your TV, right? But when it comes down to it, we don't know right now all the answers. But what we do know is that we have to make adjustments. I don't mind saying to everybody in here, it shouldn't be a shocking news alert, that I've lost a lot of clients and a lot of money based on that My job is to do a lot of events for different types of events at places which are bars and sports bars which aren't open. So over the last about 4 months, about 60% of what I make is gone. But guess what? We've showed up here for 4 months and been essential. Same thing with JP, same thing. Because we suck it up and say, you know what? We're going to bite the bullet. When sports comes back, it's going to be that much better.
It's going to be awesome.
You think we're just like living the life out here? Man, all those people calling about those Australian rugby games, man, we're making a lot profit in big time on those out there. I-10, huge corridor, 9 Mile. Those rugby games, man, we're making tons, man. I'm just banking right now. I'm like Scrooge McDuck. No, we just got to be real with what's going on right now. But it's the people that, if I got up here every day and complained about it, well, I don't get to do this job, don't get to do that job. You know, you'd get sick of it, and you'd say, you know, we're all going through tough times.
Everybody's going.
So when Rajon Rondo is getting paid $8 million to be a washed-up has-been at point guard, frankly, they don't need him right now for the Lakers, and he goes out there and he's staying at a perfect hotel, which is completely quarantined, and everything is okay, and he's got his own beach. He can go whatever he wants to do, and he takes a picture of what looks like a perfect room, and it says Motel 6. Tom Baudette's happy. He's like, well, leave the light on for you. But outside of that, can we just all sit there and go, nobody feels bad for you?
Well, not only that, though, for the fact that the WNBA, I'm sure you saw the pictures of where the WNBA, and I know it's WNBA.
Yeah.
I'm obvious to that. But they have worms in their hotel, like in the halls and stuff like that, like not as nice. And I understand, once again, they're not as profitable, not even close to the NBA, but they're being quarantined too. The NBA with Rajon Rondo, and a lot of these guys are actually happy with it. Let's make no mistake, the majority of these NBA players are actually happy with it. They think it's cool. They understand it's going to be different. But for Rajon Rondo, I just wonder, like, what did you expect? First off, remember, these teams, the top teams are in the best hotel. The next tier of teams are in the next best hotel, and it works its way down, where, like, the Pelicans are staying in the worst, I use air quotes on this, the worst Disney hotel. So these guys, I mean, I just don't understand, what was he looking for? Well, I mean, what's...
He was looking for Daisy Duck to give him a kiss when he got off the bus.
Well, she can't.
And it did not, I know.
She can't. She has to stay social distance.
It was Clarabelle, and he was upset.
I'm telling you, if this already bothers Rajon Rondo, what Stephen A. Smith he was right about what we talked about.
Yeah.
These guys are going to hate it. If it's already bad
It's day
news.
one, I know. I mean,
shut
shut
up and go win a championship.
It goes back to accountability. Like, nobody's going to feel bad for somebody to suck it up to play basketball in air condition, and all you have to do is get paid a ton of cash, which now that they've broken down the schedule is like $75,000 to $100,000 a game based on they shorten the season.
Yikes.
So you get paid like $100,000 a game to go out there and play something and stay at Disney, and we're supposed to shed a tear? Ain't happening here, brother. When we come back, we're going to tell you why JP was wrong. I don't know what yet, but I just feel like it. We're coming back. It's a Friday. Why not? Blue Angels. I'm salty.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Working on an oil change? We can help you get started. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 synthetic high-mileage motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $31.99. And if you need it fast, you can get it fast your way. Whether it's next-day delivery or free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside. The choice is yours. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Florida Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
For your ridiculous facts, I'm JP. During the 1904 Summer Olympics in St. Louis, the American Frederick Loers was the first to reach the finish line of the marathon race. It turned out, however, that he had covered about half the distance by car. Sneaky, sneaky. When Chinese basketball player Yao Ming first appeared for his new team in Houston, it was celebrated with 8,000 fortune cookies which were distributed to the fans. Ming was quite surprised as he had never seen a fortune cookie in his life, as fortune cookies are not Chinese, but an American invention. Nice try, Houston. Nice try. That's your ridiculous facts. I'm JP.
Look, chicken restaurants are nothing new. But if you're saying been there, done that, it tastes like chicken. Well, if your friends offer you a brand new convertible or a broken down station wagon with 3 wheels, do you say, hey, they're both cars? Well, the people have spoken. Mr. Pollo on 9th Avenue was voted top 100 places to eat in the country by Yelp at number 61. Making chicken great again, America. It's that good. Try it and you'll be hooked for life. The freshest ingredients and the perfect catering for any big party. Mr. Pollo. It means chicken.
You can watch Chad on the Sports Drive live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPNpensacola1330.
Getting slizzard, sipping scissor in my ride, like 3-6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6, like a G6, like a G6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6, like a G6, like a G6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6. Give me that mo-mo.
Welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 5:41 on this Friday. Happy Friday. I know it would be Blue Angels week, but it's going to be hot out there, so get out there to the Sabine, have some fun, go out there and party. Fly some of those kites over the top. Woo-woo. Act like you're having a party. Doesn't matter. Just enjoy your time out there. Overall, be safe this week. Social distance when you can, and wear a mask. We got to bowl yesterday. We were wearing masks.
Is it bad that, we're under a heat advisory tomorrow? It's supposed to be like 98, and it's like heat advisory? Really? Oh, that's every day.
Dehydration does not exist anymore. Just put that to the side. Somebody.
I found this interesting little, whatever you want to call it, ditty, I guess.
Yeah, that's what we do.
More people have died because of drinking too much water than dehydration. How ironic is that?
Makes sense, yeah. I mean,
I would have never thought that, but there you go.
There's a few restaurants if you go to, you expect to have a couple hours, you know what I mean?
Not too much water, though.
There are more people in this country that die of a certain bowels than the rest of like half of the diseases that we have out there. But we just are like, oh man, what a bad day. I shouldn't have done fifth meal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all, and all this has nothing to do with what we're saying about coronavirus. We're just saying right now that just be, at this point, I ask everybody to make the right decisions for themselves within the laws. You're not an outlaw. Go out there and do what the law tells you can do, but do it in a safe way. But you don't have to go out there and try to prove yourself like you're tougher, or at the same time, you shouldn't have to, at this point on July 10th, sit in your house, or when you go outside, you're going to get some bad allergies. Still go out, take a walk, do that. If you haven't gone out of your house in 4 months, you better be over 80. I'm just saying that. If you've not been out of your house in the last 4 months, then you better be over 80, because there is no reason why you're not at least getting out there and getting some fresh air. I'm done with that. Let's go to some of the other fun topics here. Let's get to most iconic sports figures in the Southeast. Let's have some fun. Why not? Here we go. Breakdown right now. Let's get into it right now. Emmitt Smith going up against no other than Les Miles, who moves on in our bracket here. Who was more important?
More important?
To the SEC. Just put you on the spot, just like that.
God. I mean, Emmitt was fantastic, but, I mean, iconic. If we're going what's more important, I think Emmitt. But more iconic, Les Miles, just because he's a nutcase. And he's still a nutcase, but...
I told Les Miles to tune in at 5:44.
And I would stand by that comment.
And he's not going to tune in until probably about 5:47 based on his time
then
management.
Ask me that again.
So go with Emmitt on this. Yeah, I was going to say. All right, so we'll go with Emmitt on this. Just go with the hometown crowd on that. Charlie Ward And this isn't only the Southeast Conference. It's around here. Charlie Ward.
You just changed your rules
Why not?
by the second question.
But Florida, it's sort of the ... You know, you get the ...
Just say, you know what, I thought it was, and then I realized, nah, it's...
Yeah, the ... I would say with Florida State. Let's go with that. Florida State counts. So Charlie Ward going up against Archie Manning. I'm not making this easy here. That's the whole point. It's the iconic
First round?
figures. Yep, this is right out of the gate.
Well, this is
We're
gonna be
making this
horrible.
These names are not going to be easy. That's why I'm putting all the pressure on you, and I'm sitting back.
Give me Charlie Ward.
Get my pen out. Yeah, I'll take a 12
Charlie.
ounce. 12 ounce.
Give me Charlie.
Light on the foam. Thanks.
What's in that bottle, by the way?
Doesn't matter. You're answering right now. Who do you got? Charlie or
Charlie.
Archie? We're going Charlie Ward over Archie.
I am.
All right.
The other Mannings, I think, I don't know.
I got that. All right, here we go. Mr. Two Bits against Bo Jackson. I'll make it illegal.
Oh, Bo.
All right.
I mean, no offense to Mr. Two Bits. He's fantastic, but Bo. First off, if Bo's listening, I don't want to make Bo mad. But
Mr.
yeah.
Two Bits. How dare you? You just reference Mr. Two Bits is not listening? We're going to go Bo Jackson. Okay. George Edmondson, I apologize. All right.
Don't call him by his name.
Dabo Sweeney versus Charles Barkley. I told you this is not going to be easy. This sucks. This is hard. This is what we're doing to you on a Friday. You thought you were going to go in the weekend. Everything was going to be awesome. And we're just throwing this curveball at you.
Also, like it's supposed to be SEC. We've went up the coast now. We went Florida State ...
Well,
now we're going
first
up
off,
the coast.
I feel like the guy that's doing one of those like tests because I don't have to do crap and I'm just giving you the questions and writing these down on the sheet. Right?
Give me Dabo.
Right.
I mean, just
all right.
what he's done at Clemson.
All right. Reggie White of Tennessee versus Coach K. Stevenson.
Give me Coach K.
All right, there we go.
I know who I work
That's
for.
Right. That's right. There we go. Bear Bryant versus Jack Youngblood.
But Jack might be listening.
Yeah, that's why. I know. Coach, is he right there?
By the chance Jack Youngblood's listening right now.
well, wait, you have to pick your poison with that because even if you took Jack Youngblood and you said that, you're going to have just as many people wait in the parking lot if you don't take Bear Bryant right now.
That's fine, but I don't want Jack Youngblood waiting in the parking lot for me.
What kind of hat do you have on?
Don't worry about it. It's a Tennessee hat.
It's a 3-star hat, everybody. Just make sure. It's not
Tennessee flag.
It's not the guy with the checkerboard. All right. Next one here. Let's go with, all right, not bad here. Nick Saban.
Now, Bear Bryant, by the way. In all honesty,
all right,
Bear Bryant, obviously.
I would hope. All right, moving on here to the next one.
You're making a bunch of scribbles. I don't know what they mean.
All right, let's go. Johnny Football going up against Warwick Dunn.
Ooh. I love Warwick Dunn. I also love what Warwick Dunn has done.
Look at that. I'll just give you points on there.
But are we going more – you know what, more important, I still will say Warwick Dunn for the work that he's done off the field. Are we saying just on the field?
Yeah, but you know how many different civil suits Johnny Manziel has made people money?
It's true, but Warwick Dunn building homes?
A heartfelt commercial will be like, Warwick Dunn has donated so many money to single parents, while Johnny Manziel has made over 3 or 4 women millions.
Yeah.
That's
if we're going football-wise, I mean, Warwick Dunn was – oh, God, he was so good. But Johnny Football was iconic. Everybody knew Johnny Football.
All right. We'll make this one easy here. Cam Newton versus Christian Laettner.
Cam Newton.
All right. Go Pats. I can't believe I'm going to have to.
You're
used to
gonna
saying
get used
that
to
right
it.
there. All right. Eli Manning.
Yeah, whoever else is next.
Yeah.
Who else is next?
Versus Joe Namath.
Oh, give me Joe.
Okay. All right.
Joe.
Billy Cannon, LSU versus Dean Smith.
Ooh.
North Carolina.
Dean Smith.
Everybody out there in the 60s listening right now?
Dean Smith.
All right. Pistol Pete Maravich, I don't know why, against Steve Spurrier.
Spurrier.
Okay. Leroy Jordan of Alabama versus John Calipari of Kentucky.
This is not fair because I'm not a Calipari fan. Give me Leroy.
All right. I like it.
I'm just not a Calipari fan. I'm sorry.
One of our favorite callers, Coach Gene Stallings versus Coach O.
Well, they both won a championship now.
Yes, they do, yeah. Pick wisely here.
Golly. Give me Coach Stallings. I respect I respect the heck out of him. I love Coach O, though.
Danny Werfel versus Derrick Henry. These are all so simple. I'm so glad you're answering
Derrick.
these. All right. Fort Walton Beach fans out there, we apologize for all of this right now.
It goes along what happened in the NFL.
All right, Bart Starr versus Darren McFadden.
Jeez, this. Why don't you pick some of these?
That's why I'm sitting back. I mean,
I'm going to make my own
I'm the
list.
teacher today. This is like I'm like the coronavirus laughing up in the clouds, and
Can't
you
say
are.
that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that Chad said he's the coronavirus.
No, I don't have it. I've already been
Come
tested.
get him.
But I'm the guy you are the one that is worried about getting tested. I'm not.
I've been tested. I am clear.
Me too. All right.
Bart Starr and who? Bart Starr.
Darren McFadden.
Bart Starr.
All right. Pat Summitt versus Deshaun Watson.
I do love Deshaun, but I've come on this show multiple times and talked about how much I respect Pat Summitt, what she was able to do. So you know what? No regrets. Pat Summitt.
This list, when I made it, it was like the most like I have no clue where to like start and brace like kind of thing. This one's gonna be easy right here. Phillip Fulmer versus Derek Brooks.
Yeah, Derek Brooks.
All right. Yeah, we don't like Phil. Herschel Walker versus Jimbo Fisher.
Herschel Walker.
All right, let's go. Steve Spurrier versus.
I already said Steve Spurrier.
All right, let's go. Pete Shinnick versus Michael Jordan.
Pete Shinnick.
All right, good. Thank you. Peyton Manning versus Tim Duncan.
Give me Peyton.
All right. Mike Slive versus Bo Jackson.
We already said Bo.
All right.
You got to give me another one. You're running out on your list.
Mike Slive versus the War Eagle.
Know where my bread's buttered. Give me the War Eagle.
Bobby Bowden versus Tim Tebow.
Oh, what? All right, Tim would never make me choose, so both.
We're going to take a break on this one. Who did you just say?
Both of them. Tim said I didn't have to choose between them.
Unacceptable right there. Marking that down.
Can you fail me so I can leave?
You lost 2 points. You want to get out of this test. All right, Julio Jones versus Nick Saban.
I got to go with Saban overall. But, I mean, Julio was awesome. He's still awesome.
No fair on this one at all right there.
This is getting worse. I thought this list was going to get better.
I'm running out here. I'm
clearly
a Shaq versus I'm running out right now. Adolph Rupp.
Be Shaq.
All right. Why not?
Even
Kentucky
though there's Rupp
fans, did you hear
Arena,
that right there? Yeah.
Rupp Arena, and everything else, forget it. Doesn't matter.
We have
to me.
run out to that. In any way, somebody comparing those two would have been like the most.
Comparing outside of maybe a couple of these, good luck.
This
I'd
whole
love to see
list, if
somebody
we can
else
get
do
this list here, everybody on TV. This it's a real list. Just
look at that mess.
That
is
me
a mess.
checking you off right there on. You got a 70. We're coming back for more. It's a sports drive on
a lot
ESPN.
better.
It's like that guy that you had to write the essay and you completely thought you had a good job, but he's like, I didn't like the diction.
You know my high school principal and tell him I made a 70. He'd be
Not
proud.
a big fan of your diction right there. We're coming back for more sports drive on ESPN Pensacola Live TV.
What just happened?
Welcome to Bo!
Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. Snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Tired of waking up hot and uncomfortable? Start sleeping cool on the Tempur-Breeze by Tempur-Pedic. It's engineered with a revolutionary cooling system that pulls excess heat away from your body to help you sleep deeper all night and wake up more refreshed every morning. During the Tempur-Pedic Summer of Sleep, save $500 on all Tempur-Breeze mattresses and experience your coolest sleep this summer with our best breeze savings of the year. Learn more at TempurPedic.com.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? Travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery. right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Florida Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
JP here. Everyone here at ESPN Pensacola wants to send a shout out to our first responders and healthcare workers at this time. We know it's tough, but we appreciate the work you put day in and day out. We also want to thank our essential workers out there for helping all of us continue to live our lives as normal as possible in this time. For our community, keep rocking it. We are going to get through this. Remember, we were named the #1 strong town in America. That wasn't by accident. We have seen so many people step up and do their part, and we thank all those people for their efforts. We will be stronger for this, and together, we will beat COVID-19.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Chad Brilliante, some guy being foolish over here on the other side. Pac-12, next in line out there. You guys able to?
We're having a season, baby.
Right there.
Let's
Pac-12
go.
doing some conference play, brah.
We are not going to lose to Arizona
there.
State this
Listen.
year. We're going to win the Pac-12 and make it to the playoff.
Pac-12, picking the winner, if you had a magazine, you might as well do one of those you spin a wheel. Just land on a team, be like, oh, number 3. There's no clue every year who's going to be. I mean, Oregon, you expect Oregon and USC to be up there, but outside of that, think about it. We talked about this. The last place teams have been the best teams. And then it seems like everybody is expected to be 6-6.
I wish all conferences were that way.
Yeah, I do too.
It'd make things a little more,
Well,
excitable.
to a point, though. I agree with what you're saying.
Imagine Arkansas being on top of the SEC, the fact that any team could actually jump up. It's not going to happen, but still, it does bring a little more excitement each and every year. Instead of this year, everybody's like, Alabama, Ohio State.
I know you're a big Sam
Clemson.
Pittman fan. You've got posters of him on.
He's my dog.
Listen,
right there.
listen. If you don't have a Sam Pittman poster, people out
Get
there.
the heck out of here.
I was going to say, yeah. You think about those coaches: Bear Bryant, Steve Spurrier, Sam Pittman. I mean,
Sam Pittman.
That's
right up there.
That's right there.
Actually, Sam Pittman, Bear Bryant, Steve Spurrier.
Probably got a place over here this week in Destiny's who is this clown right now? But Sam, we love you. He's like, I got paid. I don't care. Brett Bielema made $60 million. Everyone's like,
Brett Bielema's still making
how does it
money.
care about Arkansas? I'll be like, I don't know, but I bought a 6-story mansion, so I don't care what you think. I got to say, though, if you're talking right now about parity, though, when you say that, to a point, meaning that we would like to see Vanderbilt and Kentucky.
I didn't say that.
Oh, well, that's your words.
Don't
That's
put Kentucky in the same realm
listen,
as Vanderbilt.
I'm talking about, though, 6-6 is great until you get to the big dogs that eat. One of the best conversations is about
Vanderbilt
the NBA.
said 6 wins. It
The
took us 4
NBA,
years to get 6
look,
wins.
we're okay with the NBA having parity. We don't mind parity until parity doesn't work out. Baseball does that to us. Baseball is the one sport where you do get a lot of parity. And the thing about baseball is how many people were on the edge of their seat when the Rays played against the Phillies? You know what I'm saying?
There was nobody in the seats.
Exactly. Because that was parity. But when the Red Sox play against the Yankees, or if the Cardinals play against the Cubs, or the Dodgers play against one of the top teams.
The cheating Red Sox? Those guys?
That wasn't the point here. Parity's fine until it's not. We don't want to see the
College
Kings.
football is a little bit different, though.
All right.
College football is not pro sports.
Kentucky, Purdue, national title. We'll come back for more. Woo!
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I
I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Yeah, I think there's a cream. I don't think it's going to help you, though. When we come back here in the second hour, we'll get to more on parity in sports. We'll also talk about the NBA teams returning back. Should be exciting. And all of the exciting things happening this week without the Blue Angels.
Emmett Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, and it's caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Baldwin beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest. 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive. Second hour of the show goes now right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Happy Friday. How many of you out there are just like me? Like, I know it's the summertime and you're in Florida where you see those heat wave index like 110, but you're like, we live in the most beautiful place in the world. America, right there on the white sand beaches. It's not going to happen this week. There's no Blue Angels show. I know Blab TV, covering it right now, will be showing their show from 2018. Had a chance to be part of that with Molly Barrows and Christian Garman and Dave Barker. It was a lot of fun, and the whole crew. Looking forward to watching that this week. But I also created a drink called the Spirit of the Blues with the Blue Angels being there, just like the Blue Angels. It went from 0 to 700 real fast. Kicked it into full gear. You know what I mean. JP joins us on that note.
I was going to mute the TV until you said the other people were joining because I was like, I hear enough of Chad as it is.
That's right. You should.
Show me the
I
Blues.
don't look. I was a side guy. I was like the Paul Schaefer?
Look, you don't mess with Christian. When Christian sets his mind to what he's going to do.
He was the main guy right
He is
there,
a serious cat.
No, he was actually looking at the teleprompter.
He is. He knows how it goes. He's one serious cat out there.
John Morant on what's going on in the NBA right now back at Disney. He said, my room is fine. The food is fine. I'm not a silver spoon guy.
Well, good. He'll be attacked now.
No, he shouldn't be attacked.
But he will by the NBA
players.
No.
He shouldn't be attacked, but at the same time, do you have to add that? Here's the deal with all of this, though. I do understand from somebody that, as you can tell on the show, will say what's on my mind, that people take the snippets of the quotes and things like that, and then they put it together. So who knows if somebody, if it was midnight and he was walking to his room and somebody's like, Ja, what do you think of the room? And he's like, you know what? It's great. Silver spoon. And they quote it. We don't know always. When you see somebody on national TV, that's why, with Ray Rice, out of all the incidents in the NFL, when Ray Rice was on the elevator and he was like, bop, 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 it was done for him. I mean, there was nothing else. Joe Mixon, same thing. There's been a number of athletes that have done what they've done, which is horrible, with domestic abuse. Terrible. And haven't got as much time. And I want to bring it up because we need to be on an equal playing field. And it's important for me as a voice here of sports to bring this up because it is my job to be able to speak on behalf of a lot of people, same with you. But Josh Brown getting 1 game and other athletes getting 4, and Josh Brown doing terrible things, and Josh is a Caucasian male, regardless of the color of his skin, I'm just saying that was wrong. It needs to be brought up too. That Josh Brown getting 1 game and other athletes getting 4 is going to add to people getting upset in the NFL saying, hey, listen, Reuben Foster, other athletes are getting this, and Josh Brown's getting 1? You serious? He beat the crap out of his – I mean, that's that. So we're trying to put a point out here that it should be looked at. If you have the video or the tape of everything, it should be looked at equally. And Josh should have got a lot more because I've seen it, a lot more than 1 game. So I think it's fair for me to say that. Would you agree? That we equally say that? But at the same time, this isn't something we want to go down the path of. But when he says my room is fine, the food is fine, I'm not a silver spoon guy, though. That's the line that you're like, okay, room is fine, food is fine. I'm not a silver – whoa. What is a silver spoon if you're not at Disney in a 5-star like you're not at Cabo? You're not out there in the middle of like Tahiti right now, floating with Moana and Hey and Maui. I mean, like you're not a demagogue. What is going on right now? Why are you saying you're not a silver spoon guy? Because it doesn't get much better than Disney from where you're staying, unless you're Rajon Rondo.
Well, I think he's talking about these other guys complaining about it, having everything perfect and whatever. I don't have a problem with him saying it. I think it's funny. He takes a shot at a guy like Rajon Rondo.
I agree.
I think it's perfect. It's basically just kind of understanding where you're coming from. And I think for a lot of these players that have had no problem with it, they're like, look, we know what this is. This could be a lot worse. This is great. We're getting to stay at Disney. Like, we need to understand the situation that we're put in now to be quarantined, which, look, I'm not going to lie. Being quarantined for 4 months, regardless, and I know they're practicing and whatever, but for some of them it won't be very long. But if you're going to be there the whole entire time, it is tough. Because if you're stuck in a hotel room for the majority of the time, and I don't know everything that's involved with that, it probably would get a little depressing at some point. Now, I understand the money. I'm not throwing that out there. But I'm saying just from a psychological standpoint of what these guys go through each and every day, we do have to meet them in the middle where for me and you, we would love to do it. We'd be like, hell yeah, let's do it right now. We would pay money to go do that and play basketball, whatever it is. But these guys have all this freedom. They have all this money. They go and do all these luxurious things. And now it's basically like they go back to college almost. And so it is a little bit different. But to complain about it to the extent it goes back to like these celebrities that were like, we're quarantining with you. Guys, stay inside, find something to do. And you may be living in a studio apartment that's like the size of a hotel room.
Yeah.
Because that's all you can afford right now. No, you don't understand what people go through. So that's what I'm going to say on that. Silver Spoon, I think it's funny. I love it.
And I think this is the thing with all of this. 850-623-1330. You can weigh in here. Respecting everybody's choice. Giants star catcher Buster Posey decided to opt out of the 2020 season with health concerns for his newly adopted twin baby girls from the coronavirus. That's fine. That's okay. We've said from day one, if you opt out, that's your choice. And this, to me, makes sense. I mean, the babies were born 8 weeks premature. If anybody can speak on behalf of this, not from going through it, but going through it with my wife and my family, we spent 2.5 years going through this, and our daughter cut the ribbon at the Sacred Heart Children's Hospital. I mean, Layton's the coolest girl in the world, and she was born not breathing. We put her on a ventilator at 33 weeks, and she spent 4 months at the Sacred Heart NICU. Every time I got done with the show at the old ESPN, I'd run there to watch monitors until 3 in the morning. And I can tell you, if I was an athlete, which I was, but nobody at UCF after my MFRA was calling, but if I was one of those at this point, I probably would have made that same decision. And whether it was my decision or we talked together collectively with my wife and everybody, we would have made what's best for our family. So that's okay. I'm telling you today, it's all right. But don't complain about it. Don't Buster Posey's doing exactly what some athletes are doing. It's fine. That's all right to do. We talked about it. It's okay to do that. He's taking his salary. He's not going to get paid, but he's doing it out of respect for his newborn, the girls that have a weakened immune system. And if anybody, like I said, it's not just me. When I say this, I can never imagine going through what a female goes through. And I'm not saying this because it's the majority of our audience listening. But any guy out there, if you've dealt with anything during pregnancy or anything of complications, we are not the ones that get to speak on behalf of that. But you do everything, if you're a good human being, to support your wife or to support your girlfriend or to support the mother of your child. And that should be it. That should come before any of this. We say this in sports, but that always should come before that. Always. So for someone like Buster to say this, I'm fine. I'm okay with that. But that's how there are chances, there are choices like this, but this is exactly what we talked about. If you don't want to play or this, you have the right not to play, and people should be able to respect that decision.
Nick Markakis said he's not going to play, and he said he's not going to play because he talked to Freddie Freeman, who tested positive earlier for COVID-19. And he said it opened his eyes a little bit, and he said he didn't sound good, and playing in the absence of fan was a notable factor as well. And he said he's just going to wait and then come back next year. Once again, I have no problem. I know that we have, for some people are like, oh, how dare you need to play, whatever. It's once again, I have no problem with him saying that. He talked to Freddie Freeman, didn't feel good about it. If you don't feel good about it, don't play. He's going to forego his $4.5 million remaining salary. Wellington Castillo's not playing. Ian Desmond's not playing. Felix Hernandez is not playing. Michael Kopech's not playing. Mike Leake, David Price, Joe Ross, Tyson Ross, and Ryan Zimmerman aren't playing. Hey, I mean, I don't care. This is my thing. I mean, personally, even Mike Trout. If Mike Trout has said he doesn't want to play, more power to you. The thing with people complaining, I think a lot of these guys, and I'm not gonna let them out on this, but there's so much pressure that if you're not playing, people want to, well, tell me, you better have a good reason why. Because I saw on a lot of this, Nick Markakis is getting a lot of flack because he said he didn't feel good about it. If you don't feel comfortable,
then don't play.
If you don't feel comfortable going into work each and every day, don't go into work each and every day. I mean, especially with everything going on right now. I look, things are crazy, and I don't know what these guys are going through, but regardless, I just want to make this very clear. The whole situation of where they were getting to, saying, all right, just tell us where and we'll show up, cool. And, the whole ordeal, I'm not going to get into the money issue and all that other stuff. But what I will say, if you're saying, how dare you, we don't feel safe, all this other stuff, and then you're going to play, you're a hypocrite. If you're going to talk about whatever else, I know Ian Desmond talked about that he doesn't feel that it's right that, we're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, and all of a sudden this stuff came up. And he basically made a big stink, and then they asked him, well, is that why you're not playing? He was like, oh, well, no, I just don't want to play. And that was it. So it's like, well, wait a minute. Once again, these guys can do whatever the heck they want. They're athletes making millions of dollars. But with Buster Posey, it's a no-brainer. David Price, look, who cares? Nick Markakis, I respect somebody. And these guys don't have to say nothing to any of us. We need to understand that as human beings, that they don't owe us anything at all.
Yeah.
At all. Nick Markakis, though, coming out in his honesty, I love it. I do. I think that's awesome because I think there's going to be a lot of guys that will follow that because some people are scared to say what he just said.
Well, Nick Markakis is at the age, too, if he gets it in his 80s. I mean, that's very detrimental.
Great. Now our phone lines are going to light up with Braves fans again. Jeez. The NHL, by the way, announced that they've signed their CBA or whatever so they can restart. So just throwing that out there.
There you go.
NHL, baby.
Greg Harris. Look, out in Canada.
Edmonton and Toronto. It's going to be awesome, though. I will say this. I know that a lot of people were talking about Vegas and whatever. Edmonton and Toronto is the perfect place to do this playoff. I mean, that's hockey. Pure hockey. It's going to be cool.
850-623-1330 is the number to be part of this show. As right now, Jimmy Johnson, a little confused as he's a little frustrated after the coronavirus scare. Says positive test caused the 7-time NASCAR champion to miss the first race of his career, and it was followed by 3 days later a negative test.
Double negative.
Double negative.
Which makes it a positive, though, see?
That's right.
So you're learning math. So technically he's positive again.
That's what I used to tell girls when I was in college. If I got dumped by 2, I mean.
Or if they say no twice, that means they want to go out with you.
That's what I am.
She's like, I just told you no, so you're telling me no again.
Exactly.
It's like, yes.
I only went to jail 3 times trying that.
Oh,
but I mean, but overall,
didn't want to get into that with you, but all right.
But just kidding, everybody. But when it comes to disclaimer, but Jimmy Johnson is he should be a little confused on this.
Well,
it's the one sport too where it's like
663 consecutive starts. And for people to say, "Well, you know what? No, think about that for a minute." Like a guy like that prides himself. And look, this is also the guy that I believe I forget what race it was last year. I don't know if it was Talladega or whatever. And then the very next day, after a 500-mile race, goes and runs the marathon. Like, and if you read the article, he was like, "Yeah, I biked. It was like so many miles up a mountain." And that's when I realized that this was, I feel perfectly fine.
Just a show off right there. But.
Like, this guy stays in shape, whatever. And Jimmy Johnson's an awesome guy. Anybody that knows NASCAR, he is, you can't be mad at him. He's not like a Kyle Busch where kind of a dirty, racer, where he's good, but he's a dirty racer and you get aggravated. Even a dirty racer here at Five Flags, but I'm not going to get into that, whatever.
Why do you think I always was the MC of the races?
Makes sense.
The marathon and the double bridge, they were always like, "Chad, you want to run?" And be like, "No, I got to MC. I got to get the pipes going here. Got to get the. You don't want to run the 26.2? Got to get the pipes flowing here." So, it's equal, right? Same. I got a paycheck. They got sore feet. I'm just saying. Overall, though, for Jimmy Johnson, though, this
ended up going to the hospital.
Yes, that's true. I'm the one that. Listen,
it all comes
with all
back.
This being said, back in the day, I good old back in the day. I never thought I would.
Glad we can laugh about this now, though.
4-minute and 48-second mile I ran. I really did back in the day.
Yep.
That's factual right there. And I have to
Hurricane aided 40 there.
No, I have to give it to my coach Tony Riepel for it's all on him.
Oh, that's the guy that was in the doping scandals. That makes sense. Okay.
Well, listen.
Yep.
Big
Tony.
I don't know. Doping on
He gave Roger Clemens something too, didn't
he?
Guy
owned a McDonald's. We did the Super Cinco. If you know what that is, we would go in there and get 5 patties onto one bun and just. So if that's the doping scandal, Shamrock Shakes.
What was in that Shamrock shake?
Listen, a lot of green. So we're seeing green on it. But it was actually. I applaud him because everybody can be pushed to a limit when you don't know. Like if you see somebody, everybody has that extra. They talk about of like you see your son under a car and you can lift it up. Well, he's like, you're about 30 seconds behind pace. Are you kidding me? When we came around the third lap, because 4 laps around a track is the mile. So the third lap around, he was like, "You're doing terrible," and people were like, "What are you doing here?" I was actually about 20 seconds ahead, but he was like, so at that point, I'm like, "You kidding me?" And I'm like. Yeah, like going full out, like slow motion, like "I will get you, shooter," like full doing that, and came around, and I could not breathe. This is before coronavirus kind of stuff, back in like 2004, and I'm out of breath, and he's like, "Dude, you were way ahead of time. I completely fooled you," and I was like, and I'm like on the side, like, "Can somebody get me some water? I don't care right now," and he pushed me up like 20 seconds more than I ever had. So sometimes the moral of this story is. Con your children.
People will lie.
People will lie in your life, but it's for their best benefit.
Their best benefit.
That's terrible advice. Like you can see the star on like NBC. We care. Dun, 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 dun. Like, yeah, listen, sometimes you just have to do that for kids. Just go ahead and tell them a lie. They run their best time ever. If you learn anything from this show, remember that. We're coming back for more.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh, dilly dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Three-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? This your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes are non-transferable, non-redeemable for cash, or exchangeable for any other contest prize. Prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning and must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
The latest news and sports can be heard on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Get the latest news and football on Talk Football with Coach K. Daily sports talk on your drive home on The Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. And a recap and look ahead of the sports week on Sports Call with Davis and Justin every Saturday. Plus, national sports radio talk on Golic and Wingo, The Dan Lebertard Show with Stu Gotts, and The Paul Feinbaum Show. It all lives on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station. ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.
I'm just kidding.
6:22 on this Friday evening. Chad Brillante, DJ JP over here. Eric and all the guys. John back in the network studio. 850-623-1330 is the number. Quit asking a bunch of players, not you guys out there. Someone's driving like, I haven't done anything. It's like, I'm just getting off work.
That's a good way to piss people off immediately when we come back.
That's what we do. But
quit asking
just yelling at them. But for the media out there at these locations that are obviously going to be different, quit asking them questions that you know the answer is not going to be like a bunch of rainbows and cuddly pandas.
Oh, pandas would be great.
Be really nice right now. I love that.
We should ask the pandas about the pandemic.
If you had a panda cage around the NBA players at Disney, they probably do, actually.
It's got to be a red panda.
Animal Kingdom does have a panda. But one of the pitchers goes, I'm going to really miss not having a regular roster now that they're adding the DH. Okay, you're a pitcher. You go from the pitcher to facing some big mojo that's going to hit the ball 400 feet. So, yeah, you probably don't like that. But why is that even a headline right now? Got to do what you got to do right now. This is not normal. And I know you wanted to break down Usman and Masvidal. It's Fight Island right now. You got it out there. It's going to be pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
It's not a fight. It's not a true island, so I'm upset.
What if mid-fight, they break it off from the building?
That'd be great.
Like, oh, crap, man.
I don't know. I will say with the Masvidal fight, though, there's been a lot of...
Tomorrow night, yeah.
A lot of heat, I guess. I don't know. Trash talking. That's actually something that's going to be interesting to see. But Masvidal's like, 35-13? And
yeah.
Usman's like 16-1.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not the biggest UFC guy, but it's one of those things that I picked up during COVID-19 because that's kind of all that's been on. So I'm not going to lie.
One thing we've learned from COVID-19, it's been we have become fans. If you're a true sports fan, you become a fan of a lot more stuff going on, because we've watched Korean baseball. Now we're watching MLS soccer tonight, San Jose and Seattle. A lot of golf. Bundesliga soccer. Joe Ford's out there listening like I did that already. No matter what you're doing out there, though, you're paying attention to other sports that you haven't normally watched. And that's what makes it so ridiculous that Major League Baseball didn't grab the bull by the horns and try to get this started earlier. Because it's already a game that's social distance. You already had a platform set by Korean and Japanese baseball and Chinese Taipei and other leagues already doing it. And you could have been you could have been the Lone Ranger during the midst of all this. When imagine right now if baseball was like 3 weeks in and the NBA players were showing up to the hotel and Rondo was like, oh, Motel 6. They'd have been like, listen, get in your hotel room. We got a doubleheader tonight. Like, these pitchers aren't playing games. You know what I'm saying? Like, if another major sport was going on, we'd be like, we've heard enough. Let's get them out here. Like, once one of the sports starts and the other ones start whining, you're going to be like, look, they're showing you. And it doesn't matter if you're hitting a puck, if you're out there putting from 6 feet out, if you're shooting a 3, or you're hitting a home run. The coronavirus doesn't judge any of that. So it's all based on relativity of distance away and players testing positive. So once one of the leagues gets going, the others are going to be like, oh, we should be able to play if they do it right. That's not the perfect answer, and we don't know all the answers, and they're going to have to do a right job. It's going to be up to the leagues, like any business, any job, to run it right. If you have a bunch of people show up to work and you're like, hey, man, just whatever you do tonight, happy Friday, woo! If you want to just go ahead and take some shots, don't worry about the inventory. Got some vodka over here. Like, if you start doing that and you come back and all your bottles are gone at your bar and you're like, oh, my gosh, did we have a great night last night? And you're like, no, nobody showed up. You're like, the whole place is gone. Be like, sort of on you, brother, for the way that you ran your business. So it's up to the businesses to go ahead and monetize and do it the right way. But once one of the leagues shows that they can do it, which like the basketball tournament is doing and other leagues, then we should use that as a blueprint. We shouldn't go against it. And Korean baseball did that for what? 2 months?
Yeah.
It showed us that you can do that.
They're still there, but everybody forgot about them now.
now they're doing it with fans. They're back to having fans now.
It's like everybody forgot about Korean baseball because we got an inkling of sports back.
Just saying, like, baseball should be able to come back, and it's all politics at this point with them. And if you don't want to play Buster Posey, that's okay. But baseball should be able to come back. Out of all the sports that you don't have to bump and grind, like Sweet Lou Piniella up against the umpire, giving chest bumps.
Please
like,
don't.
I'm not going to do that
do
again.
that
I'm not
on
going to do that
TV,
again. But I'm just saying.
That camera has a side view.
Giving some chest bumps right there. But, yeah, you know that guy's going to get tossed, though. Imagine that. The coach, the umpire, the manager that comes out and gets in the face.
In the NFL, you're going to get 2 weeks off.
You know the old school, like when Martin would get in the face of one of the umpires? That'll get you thrown out of the league these days. Think about that.
Angel Hernandez needs to go.
You're asking for – that's like the death penalty in sports. If you're going to get up there in the face, he's arguing ball 3. He's out right in his face. Like, I think there was some saliva there. You're done.
You might get arrested. Just think about it. Especially what if he got sick? Oh, my goodness.
Right up there. Is
that Shaq? Boy, Shaq does just not look very good in a polo and golf pants.
Right now, the American Century Tournament going on, and currently in golf right now, we've got a leaderboard with Murrayfield Village right there. Good old Murrayfield.
Can't believe Charles Barkley is 7,500 to 1 odds.
You know, actually, but Adrian Still said he was pretty decent at one point. Colin Morikawa living the dream right now. He's up by 4 strokes. 4 strokes right now.
Just stroking it.
That's not a campaign slogan that many companies are picking up, but yeah, he's up by 4. He is. Keegan Bradley's right there. Billy Horschel, who I beat in high school, is at -4 currently right now. Looking at some of the leaderboards as
Jealous?
as we go down. No, I'm just going through. Phil Mickelson, -2.
What's he doing? What's he doing in that?
Get him out of here, man. Just because you have cool calves, you think you're the man?
Fantastic calves. They're great.
He's doing good for himself right now.
I think he doesn't care what we think.
Projected cut line. What happened to Jordan Spieth? He's about to miss the cut. Gary Woodland, I know one of your favorites.
Yep,
is out.
always.
J.J. Spahn, one of my favorite novelists. He's out. You also have, at this point, it looks like, Sang You'll Know is going to not make the cut. Brooks Koepka, geez. Brooks Koepka definitely took some time off because he's one of those kind of guys, when he gets locked in, there's nothing you can do. There is no reason Brooks Koepka is +2 right now, and he's still playing right now. He's like, unless he birdies the final 3 holes, he's not going to make the cut. He's just like one of those guys like, yeah, that's great. Let's wait for the Masters and let me win. There's some guys that have that jet, like turn it on, like I did to you in bowling yesterday. Started railing you.
I was consistent. By the way, at the American Century Championship Celebrity Tournament, you taking Romo or you taking Smoltz? Romo's the 2-time champion.
I'll go with Romo.
Okay, I'm going Smoltz.
I'll go with Romo.
It's dangerous to go with Smoltz, too, because I think 70% of the money is on Smoltz. So usually Vegas will win out on this, because especially golf, of all things.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right.
Smoltz, he was good, though. But he once ironed a shirt with it while he was still wearing it.
It's true.
That's a fact.
Very
That's
true. We've all had that thought. We just probably haven't taken that.
What is worse, though? Ironing that shirt because maybe he had a couple I mean, that's the thing is when people say, like, maybe I came in from the night before. That's not an excuse long term, but it is an excuse short term. I would rather that night, like, you woke up like, where am I, man? There's a dart in your neck. Like, I'd rather be like, man, I don't remember that. Be like, I was completely sober, and I end up in an alleyway with no clothes and be like, cut. Like,
Leave
at that
be.
point, like, you don't have any excuse. Not to say even if you're drunk, you have an excuse because you have a problem then. But it's better than saying sober. You know what I'm saying? I would hope that that's the point. John Smoltz maybe could be like, I came back from the club and I tried to, like, iron it for the next day. I don't know. No matter what, ironing a shirt while you're wearing it, not a good idea. So he got, and while we bring this up, he got 3rd-degree burns and he actually missed the game. So it's pretty bad right there. But he's does a good job on TBS, and he was a heck of a closer. Is he the best ever starter to closer? Dennis Eckersley? There's been a few of them.
Ooh, I don't know. Ever.
Not too many that do. I mean, all I can think of is Dennis Eckersley.
He's pretty good.
It's really good. I know. I mean, I'm just saying. That's why I brought him up. But him or John Smoltz would probably be the ones from.
The two that definitely come to mind. I love Smoltz, so I'll say yes. I mean, I don't know. Eckersley was really good. Guy was so
all those
good.
years of Eric Gagne.
Get him out of here. Get those goggles out of here.
What a con artist.
So many people started wearing goggles or
what
some
a financially aid con artist right there. He made so much money off of just completely juicing and looking awesome doing that.
Wearing swim goggles?
I mean, obviously a talent, but from hero to zero, he might win the award for that. He's like Lance Armstrong ×5 without the cool documentary.
Please don't. Let's not get a documentary.
No, let's not do it.
No,
I don't want to see that. But everybody was infatuated with that. Remember that? Like, everybody was like, oh, man, this is the dude. He would come out and, like, lights out stroke you for 3 straight strikeouts, and then he'd run back.
But people would started wearing goggles and stuff, like, just to be like him, look like him, whatever, because it was kind of goofy. And I don't know.
He failed the drug test, and the rest was history.
Yep, then it was over with. Then the goggles weren't so sexy anymore.
Who was your favorite closer in baseball? I liked Rod Beck. Was pretty cool. Remember back in the day?
Yeah.
Looked like a rock star. R.I.P. He passed. He did.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
What? No. When?
I wouldn't have said that. Google that.
No,
please.
but you've said things like this because you weren't sure. Oh, 2007. What?
Yeah.
Yikes.
I was just waiting for that punchline. I remember he did. I mean, I was.
Oh, Rob Nin popped up on that, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I remember. That's a good name right there.
Rob Nin is a good name.
That's the name on our conversation yesterday that you completely forgot. Rob Nin was one of those right there.
Billy Wagner.
I remember Billy Wagner, though.
Rob Nen
But
was the man.
Wags had some time. Rob Nen, I completely forgot, but he was good for a long time. Yeah, really good. Yeah, he would be one of those. Lee Smith, you had some of the closers back in the day. Rod Beck, though.
Always
cool to watch. Just the look. But my favorite closer, Rivera is the best of all time.
Oh, yeah.
When he came in, it was unfair. Like when your team was down by 1, you were like, crap. Never forget Craig Kimbrell coming in, Leprechaun coming in, and I have to watch those games. I lost like 6 years of my life watching those games last year when he would come in.
I always loved Trevor Hoffman.
Well, Trevor was consistent.
Yeah. But the leg kick, all that kind of just, I don't know. And when he came back, though, before he retired, whatever, played with the Brewers a little bit, it's just, it's one of those guys that you wish would have just went out before because he wasn't as dominant, and it was kind of like hanging on little by little. It's like, hey, man, look, you ain't got it no more. It's okay. I'll still respect the heck out of you.
What closer all time made every fan sweat out and he continued to get jobs? Here, I've got the answer to this one right here. I don't have to. You don't have to. I'm going to give you 2 right now, and you answer between these 2. And both of them, when I say this, their fan base is going to get ticked off hearing their names. Jason Isringhausen.
That's a good one.
And Fernando Rodney. Both of those guys.
Boy.
Oh, wow. How many days, if you were one of those teams, that you had to watch them come on the mound? Yep, sideways hat.
I can't do it all the way because I'm wearing that set.
Didn't he look, and no offense, and he didn't have to, but didn't he always look high? It has nothing to do with it.
He really
his
did.
eyes were
he
bloodshot.
just had that look and everything.
His eyes were completely bloodshot, and he had a sideways hat, and his pitching looked like it too, but he always got the job somehow. He had photos of the whole league or something. I don't know. How did he get a job for so long? You know what I'm saying? Like any pitcher, we all know that in baseball. You've always had that closer that we both were pitchers in baseball, but we know the game. You got that guy, and you're like, you got to be kidding me. Why is this guy in the game? And sometimes we're hard on those guys, but there are some guys that you watch, and you're like, why is this guy back? Rodney was always that guy. It'd be like a 4-1 game, and he'd walk the first 2 batters. He'd bean the next guy, and it'd be bases loaded, no outs. And you're like, now if this guy hits a grand slam, we lose. Like, always happened that way. Who was that guy? He would be the guy for sure.
I thought John Rocker was hilarious because John Rocker could literally come in and just slam the door shut. And I'm talking about like literally the door because he's mad, whatever, and getting batteries thrown at him. No, but he was that good, or that he could turn around, and it was like watching a Major League movie where Wild Thing's throwing it off the backstop. Like you have no idea what you were going to get. There's one name I'm trying to think of. Tigers. Closer.
Are you talking about the Jose Mesa?
No, Jose Valverde.
Okay, yeah.
That was another guy.
Well,
it was just you were like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, he was pretty bad. No, I would agree with that. For a while, it usually
Mark
was
Wohlers, Jeffrey D. weighing in.
That's a good one,
Maniac
right there. But
Mark
see,
Wohlers.
Mark Wohlers was really good for a while, but then he had those years. He did.
Yeah.
But when Wohlers was in his prime, he was the guy that you were supposed to put in and expect to close the game out. But yeah, at the end, Mark Wohlers was bad.
Here's 5. I just looked this up.
Okay, all right.
John Axford.
Oh, worst ever. Oh, yeah, he was bad with the stash, the porn stash. Oh, terrible right there. I remember. And he threw like one. But the thing was, he threw like 102. Colorado was one of a. But he threw like 102, and you never expected it anywhere near the strike zone. He would just walk the first batter on 4 pitches. Yep, he was one of them.
Rafael Betancourt. That's another guy. This is a good one. Heath
A
Bell.
good list. This is
Heath Bell.
Well, but Heath Bell in his prime was really good with the Padres. But then he went to the Marlins, and he was
Oh, Jason Mott.
Oh, his whole career was like that.
Up and down.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good one right there. That's a great list. Rafael Betancourt.
Rafael Betancourt. John Axford, that's awesome.
Yes.
That is inconsistency at its best.
Well, how about this? How about K-Rod at the end of his career?
Yes. Yep.
Like he was great for a while, but when he was on the Tigers and they still kept using him, and you were like,
"What are you doing?"
Like 40. I mean, this guy's throwing like
pay him
88
and let him go.
on the corners. Yeah, that's after a while. Those guys that kept on Joe Kim Soria, remember, like those guys that continue to show up, and you're like, these guys are done. There's a reason why when they show up in the 6.75 ERA comes up next, they're getting. Oh, that was bad. Oliver Perez.
Yep. God,
that's another
Oliver
one right
Perez.
there. Oh. Just reminiscing. Let's go to break on this.
Yeah, that's good.
Rafael
Betancourt. That's it.
Let's
That's the winner.
Happy Friday.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
For the thousands of wounded warriors returning from battle, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a unique program that helps wounded warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. The Warriors to Work program also works with companies to find the right job for the right warrior. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
For your ridiculous facts, I'm JP. During the 1904 Summer Olympics in St. Louis, the American Frederick Loers was the first to reach the finish line of the marathon race. It turned out, however, that he had covered about half the distance by car. Sneaky, sneaky. When Chinese basketball player Yao Ming first appeared for his new team in Houston, it was celebrated with 8,000 fortune cookies which were distributed to the fans. Ming was quite surprised as he had never seen a fortune cookie in his life, as fortune cookies are not Chinese, but an American invention. Nice try, Houston. Nice try. That's your ridiculous facts. I'm JP.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
JP here. Everyone here at ESPN Pensacola wants to send a shout out to our first responders and healthcare workers at this time. We know it's tough, but we appreciate the work you put day in and day out. We also want to thank our essential workers out there for helping all of us continue to live our lives as normal as possible in this time. For our community, keep rocking it. We are going to get through this. Remember, we were named the #1 strong town in America. That wasn't by accident. We have seen so many people step up and do their part, and we thank all those people for their efforts. We will be stronger for this, and together, we will beat COVID-19.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin. You're listening to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Says she's no good with words, but I'm worse. But started out a joke of a romantic stuck to my tongue.
And welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Chad Brilliante alongside JP. Happy Friday to you. I know it's Blue Angels week. A lot of people still at the beach having some fun. We had a little bit of a thunderstorm. Not a meteorologist, but I'm just saying. Overall, should be a hot week. Good day to go out there, social distance, and enjoy some fun. But no Blue Angels this week, and it's a little upsetting, but it is what it is. Pac-12 following the Big Ten and going conference only. It's only a matter of time before it becomes this way, because ultimately 2 of the major Power 5 conferences have decided this at this point. So if 2 more decide this, then the other one has to make that decision anyway, unless they want to just play their small counterparts. And
maybe.
I would rather, though, as we said, I would much rather see these teams make that decision now.
Why?
Because I would rather.
One's already made it. They're going to play.
What?
One's already made it. The rest of them are going to play.
Who's made that decision? Who's made that decision?
Big Ten decide they're playing conference. That's all you need.
That's what I like.
It doesn't matter. So you're saying you'd rather everybody else come out.
We don't know. I'm not saying they have to do it today.
I would rather wait.
But I would rather people get it together now than wait all the way till the end. I'm talking about if the Big Ten didn't make the decision. We're talking about before the Pac-12 just popped up on the radar, which is West Coast news. Get them out of here anyway. But when it comes down, sorry, you're like that was disrespectful.
But I will say this, okay?
But,
so
but
with the Big Ten saying that though, so Cam made a great point yesterday. So you've got Rutgers traveling to Nebraska, all the way over there, which is I'm not going on maps. I know it's a long way from Rutgers, obviously, to Nebraska, but they're not going to play Temple, who was on their schedule, which is 30 minutes, 45 minutes away. So in a nutshell, it's like, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. It makes sense. You're trying to limit travel, whatever, but you're going to play a team that's 7-8 hours away or whatever it may be, but you're not going to play a team that's 45 minutes up the road. Wouldn't 45 minutes of travel be a lot better than 7 to 8 hours? I mean, that's what I'm saying when they say on the surface. Right. On the surface, it looks good.
None of this makes sense.
But at the same time,
I know.
Alabama and Auburn are one of them. They could play Georgia Southern, and I'm not saying fill their thing with that, like their schedules with that. Like, I'm not saying I want to see Auburn play Georgia Southern instead of Auburn playing LSU or A&M or somebody.
But to use the UCF method, that would be irrelevant anyway.
Well, no, if it helps you claim a national title.
Well,
because with UCF
it claims a parade. It claims a parade.
You beat USF.
Nope. If you have a 9-game schedule or an 8-game schedule and you win those Georgia Southern games, you just get to add a couple victories without any of the fun, because we get to have a parade. That's all it counts for. You beat Stanford by 40, doesn't matter to anyone. Apparently, beat Auburn. I can have an uncle come to Thanksgiving and tell me why beating Auburn the next year was like, we can't beat Vanderbilt. That may or may not happen. But doesn't matter.
Can't beat them in baseball.
Doesn't matter.
That's for sure.
Quentin Flowers. But when it comes down to what's going on right now in college football, I do think, though, that if you make the announcement now, conference schedule, because we're thinking about it from like, let's get them on the field. Let's play ball. Like tomorrow, let's watch. Let's sit back and eat chips. But they're going to have to go through right now, starting to print out the tickets, get ready, set the schedules, have their SIDs, working on making sure that these dates are set, talking to the other teams and coordinating. Like, if you get it going right now on July 10th to say we have a 9-game schedule or an 8-game schedule in conference, and that's what we're doing, then we have 2 months to get them prepared for what's going to be the season. If now anything can happen at this point. We understand that with what's going on with COVID-19 is anything can happen and anything can change at any time, and we're aware of that. But I would rather them do that than us being held in that purgatory hiatus state of sitting there waiting at like July 28th, and there's still been no announcement, which would be real easy for college football at that point to be like, kids aren't back on schedule, they're not back on campus, we're done, we're not playing. Like right now, Ohio State, what we assume is the Big Ten is now that they're ready for conference is going to get their players out there, Pac-12. And I put this out there yesterday on our ESPN page.
Well, they've been out. You talking about practicing?
Yeah.
Well, they've been doing that.
They have, but then they stopped. Ohio State stopped and then took time off. But
yeah, but that's not going to change. They're pausing that just to go ahead and clean and get everything.
But for a while, that scared a lot of people. Where they're like, uh-oh, they stopped. Are we going to play? I'm saying the news, the media was like, uh-oh, Clemson stopped. This team stopped. If they stop, but if we set a conference schedule, they're going to go, okay, that's great. We're just going to – hopefully they can take the 10 days and get back for their conference schedule.
But with that being said, them saying we're playing conference schedule is no different than them not saying anything. I understand what you're saying, but
that's not true.
Okay, so
that's
tomorrow we have an outbreak. Or you have an outbreak in a month. What good? What has it done? How's it? There's no guarantee anything.
Well, the bars aren't up. It's all about the bars, right?
That's the whole point in all this. I mean,
there's no Trump rally in Tulsa, right?
Look,
isn't that the only thing?
We want news now. We want news. What you just said, you're happy you want them to make the announcement now, is exactly the way our society is, though. We want this news. We want these people to make the decisions now. But guess what? They don't have to. They don't need to in all reality. And saying you're going to play conference only, Jeffrey D. said earlier, he's like, they could reverse that decision. There's a lot of things that can happen. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. In 2 months, when we're getting ready, games are sitting, or a month and a half, whatever it is, in a month now, if we flatten the curve again, everything's looking good, whatever happens, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you're telling me right now that if we were all good, and they could play more games, because remember, these games, each and every one of these games, these big-name teams are going to make a ton of money off of it. Money they're already going to be losing anyway.
Yeah.
You're telling me they wouldn't reverse that decision?
But
But
for our conversation, I know what you're saying, but I disagree. It's like school right now.
So them making the decision to do that, how does that change anything?
Because it gives you a platform to start building on. Look,
there's no platform.
Okay, first off, you don't think though what
there's
Malcolm,
no platform.
Okay,
where is the platform?
Just like with school in Escambia County, Malcolm
3
Thomas.
weeks ago, we said 100% we're going to have a college season, and now we're talking about possibility of not moving
that
to
was
spring.
us just
there
talking.
There is no platform.
That was just us talking.
Period. There's no platform.
If people make a decision as a group, it sets something up. What I mean by that is right now, we had Malcolm Thomas come out there yesterday on public TV and say, we are going to go out there, and you have 3 choices to make as a family. You can go ahead and do where you're at your house. You can go ahead and go to school normally, or you can do it online and do it in a certain way. All these people now are going to start signing their kids up because you go to a certain, our daughter's 4. She's going to a smaller school at this point, like not every day. But most people right now are choosing as a family what to do. Over the next 2-3 weeks when they do that, that means that when he made that announcement, there is a much better shot that is setting the course for all those people signing up to what we're doing than if everybody just waited in the dark and waited until August and said, uh-oh, what are we going to do? By the committees right now, by every single conference making a decision, right now they're currently setting a model to say, these are the games we're playing. This is what we're getting. It doesn't say it's 100%. But to me, setting that up, then just to wait, we had no clue.
There's nothing for these schools. None. You want to know why? Because these schools are the ones that are in there making this decision. They're in the athletic directors are talking to each other. Chad, they've known about this. It wasn't just like they announced it. Everybody was so surprised. It's different when you've got kids that are sitting out here.
You would look cowardly if the Big Ten
Where's the platform?
You would look cowardly.
So if we have an outbreak, you're telling me we've got this platform, it's going to do any good. No, this is day in and day out changing. Okay, but you're saying kids that have no idea that are sitting home right now are the same as these kids that are working out and that are getting news from their coaches and their athletic directors when they're meeting with these people. That's not even the same. It's completely different. So with that being said, this conference-only thing, it's not a platform. Because tomorrow they can say we're not playing at all.
But they're not going to do that.
That's why it's pointless.
They're not going to do that.
It is pointless
we haven't seen anybody
to come
do that.
out and say right now, this early, when you still have a little bit of time before players have to report, because these players are already there. Let's make that very clear. It's not like players are sitting there going, nope, didn't get a text from coach today. I guess we're not going in.
When have we seen them do that? I'm saying nobody needed to make that decision. I will tell you today, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten have a much better chance than all 3 other conferences, based on what they said, of putting together an agenda.
How?
Because
the agenda's already put together, Chad. These guys like the NFL, they have all these different things laid out. Even Bob Bowlesby had talked about, oh, look, we've even mentioned moving to the spring. We haven't talked about it a lot. But we've got all these different scenarios. Greg Sankey came out and said we've got every scenario from conference only to people even playing the same teams twice.
All of them are going to do conference only. We talked about all of them will do conference only.
Don't tell me it's a platform. Don't tell me it's a platform.
July 10th
when
right
there
now.
Is no platform.
I'm telling you right now, by the end, when we come back on Monday.
Where's the platform? That's what I want to know.
All right.
How does it change anything that they said it right now?
Lunch by the end of next week.
That's what I want to know. Answer me that question. How does it change anything making that decision today than 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now? It doesn't. I'm telling you because they've already talked about it.
Because
this
they
is an
game
idea.
Planning for that.
They've been game planning for this. All the conferences is, Chad. Look at them. Look at their interviews. Greg Sankey said it the other day. We've looked at playing. We've looked at playing conference only.
Their first game now is that team and not the other one.
What good does that do 2 months from the start of the season?
Because they announced it.
So you're right. You're right. Because preparing for Wofford,
this isn't a fantasy football
draft. I can't imagine
having
having to look at planning for Wofford. I have to have 2 months before I plan for Wofford.
By them announce, this is not like a pickup basketball game. If the Big Ten announces they're playing that week, we got to believe that that's the first game of the season. Seriously? Like you
2
think
months?
that
2 months?
All of this can change, but right now, what we do know is the Big Ten and the Pac-12.
They're preparing to start on time.
They're not preparing. They're saying they're playing a conference-only schedule.
To start on time. How does it change whether you're playing conference or you're playing a regular schedule? You're preparing to start on time.
We're claiming it anyway. It doesn't matter. We're going to claim
They're not watching film on their first opponent right now.
let's go ahead and go to break because we are going to have to end the show.
Right
but
on. I'm down with that.
I'm good with that. We're on the same page. UCF, best team ever.
For the thousands of wounded warriors returning from battle, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a unique program that helps wounded warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. The Warriors to Work program also works with companies to find the right job for the right warrior. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
For 30 years, Thomas Home Corporation has proudly helped families build their ultimate dream home. If you're looking to customize your home, we are currently building throughout Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa counties, and we can either build to your home in one of our subdivisions or even on your own lot. Our team works with you to guide you through each step and decision in the process. Builder of the 2019 American Dream Home and Builder of the Year, Thomas Homes Corporation has built quality homes at an affordable price since 1990. Begin the process today and become one of our proud homeowners at thomashomescorp.com.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Three-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? This your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen. With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom. Oh, dilly dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. I know what you're saying. We just talked for like 3 minutes. I'm just saying.
From a coaching perspective, it doesn't change anything that you're doing, whether you're playing this
I'm not
day.
talking
because
about coaching perspective, though.
Planning, anything. Like I said, this is not something new to these guys. They've been preparing for the worst. They have all these different scenarios going out. I mean, the only thing they haven't truly prepared for is moving to the spring, because if they moved to the spring, they would have time to do that. So I'm not buying into the making this. We know, look, let's be honest. If things stay the way they are now, we'll have college football to some extent. If things get worse, we won't. It doesn't matter if Ohio State said we're playing conference only or not, Big Ten, whatever it is, Pac-12, regardless.
If you have
it just doesn't making the decision today. I understand it makes you feel better, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change, because if that's the case, then why isn't everybody doing it today? Why didn't SEC? Why didn't ACC? Big 12? Why did they say we're going to say late
There's
July?
a lot of money involved in these games with the SEC network.
Because you don't have to make that decision. It doesn't change anything making the decision today.
If you give up 3 games, you're giving up a ton of cash,
Exactly.
too.
And you don't know. Things can change in 3 weeks. That's why you have time to make that decision. So, therefore, that's what they're doing, and it's the smart move. Saying you play in conference only does you no good when things can change on a dime. We've seen that.
I just think
3 weeks ago, we said 100% we were playing a season.
I think by making an announcement that you're having conference only is better than not making any announcement that we're going to have some sort of college football season. That's all I'm saying. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. God
91
bless.
FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Steve Lennox. Pac-12 has announced it will play a conference-only schedule with fall sports, including football. Big Ten made a similar announcement for fall sports season on Thursday. Alabama and USC were scheduled to open up the season September 5th at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Alabama Director of Athletics Greg Burns said in a statement released tonight that the Pac-12 announcement will force Alabama to adjust. Jets running back Le'Veon Bell touched on teammate Jamal Adams wanting a new contract or a trade from the Jets today when he appeared on Hot 97 radio in New York.
I think he wants to be there. I just think he wants to get sacked. I think he wants to get paid. I think he's like in the same situation, that I was 3 years ago. He's a young player. He's been at the top of the game, playing at a high level, and he feel like, dang, I just want to get compensated, And me personally, I'm not going to be a guy who's like, man, you got to do this stuff. No, hell no. Like, you deserve every dollar you're asking for. Like, everything you ask for, he deserves it.
NHL Players Association and the NHL Board of Governors have approved a package that not only will allow the league to restart this summer, but also includes a 4-year CBA extension. Clippers coach Doc Rivers said Kawhi Leonard is expected to join the organization in Orlando tonight. Buster Posey will opt out of playing this season for the Giants. Posey and his wife recently adopting twins that were born prematurely last week. Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal both making weight for their UFC welterweight title fight. UFC 251 Saturday night and Abu Dhabi prelims at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Main card, ESPN Plus at 10
Friday,
Eastern.
we go to UFC's Fight Island ahead of Usman Masvidal. Plus, seal it up. All the NBA teams are inside the bubble. And how does Philadelphia feel about Deshaun's comment? Friday on Go with the Wingo, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and live on ESPN2.
Company on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Welcome back to Spain and Company, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. Happy Friday. Sarah Spain, Jordan Cornett hanging out with you. We're presented by Progressive Insurance, and joining us now on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, gymnast Maggie Nichols. The focus of a new documentary that's out on Netflix called Athlete A that chronicles her life, her career in gymnastics, and the eventual arrest and stories by over 100 athletes about Larry Nassar, a coach who was a part of Michigan State and, of course, USA Gymnastics, her role in bringing him down and how it affected her career with USA Gymnastics. Maggie, you're a busy lady. We've been trying to get you on here for a while. I'm glad you had some time to come on and talk to us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me today.
I watched this documentary and it made me so angry all over again, including for some new reasons. And one of those was you were the first to report to USA Gymnastics about the sexual abuse of Larry Nassar. And instead of taking action, instead of stopping it before he could continue to do this to many others, they buried it and eventually, according to many, it's not proved, but according to many, held it against you and kept you off the 2016 Olympic team, despite the fact that you finished in position to be a part of that team. What made you decide to be a part of this movie and tell your story?
Yeah, first of all, it was a difficult decision for me to even come out publicly when I did. But I kind of realized, through the process of deciding, whether I wanted to be in the documentary, I just realized that, if I could just help one person, that would make everything, worth it. Everything that I'd have to go through, the interviews and the filmings and all of that kind of stuff, if I could just help one person. So that was kind of the ultimate decision on why I chose to, be part of the documentary. And I think it turned out really well, and it's extremely powerful. So I think that it was the right decision for me.
Sarah mentioned those 2016 Olympics, and of all the awful to occur, that was just another one of them. When you look back on those Olympic trials and that experience, knowing that there may have been reason to keep you off that team, how do you cope with something like that?
Yeah, I try personally not to think about it too much. I always just try to think that they made the decision for the Olympic team and trusted that they made the right decision and everything like that. But it's disappointing just knowing that, it could have hindered that, my Olympic dreams and things like that, which is, it's hard to cope with, but, I just try to, think about the positives and think about my career here at OU and how amazing it was.
Yeah, we're talking to Maggie Nichols, probably the greatest athlete in the history of OU, the most dominant. How did you decide to step away from elite gymnastics, Olympic-focused gymnastics, and decide to compete at OU? And also, was there any part of you that the sport itself felt hard to stick with because of the way you'd be treated by some of the people at the highest levels of it?
Yeah, my decision to come to OU kind of happened right after Olympic trials. After Olympic trials, I was kind of beat up both physically and mentally. And so I thought it was the right decision for me to, step away from elite gymnastics and go to college and, experience the NCAA and things like that. And my transition was extremely difficult, but at the same time, it was easy because I had so much support and all around from the university, from the coaches, the team, athletic directors, et cetera, every single person. So I was so thankful I made the decision to go to OU the time that I did. And then also, I never looked poorly upon gymnastics just because, what happened to me and all the other girls did happen with the sport of gymnastics. But, the sport of gymnastics is such a beautiful sport, and it has grown me into the person I am today. And I just think that gymnastics is incredible, and people shouldn't look poorly on the sport, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Mike. But there's still a lot of changes that need to occur within elite gymnastics, surely, and I think there's still many questions that have come on the heels of Athlete A and on the heels of a lot of these investigations, just the sheer oversight. Do you believe that the proper steps are being made, and is it in good hands for the proper steps to be made to ensure that horrific things like this never happen again?
Yeah, I do believe that there are steps in the right direction right now, which is motivating. But I do know and think that there needs to be a lot more that needs to be done, a lot more changes within the program and USA Gymnastics and things like that. But I do think and believe that there are steps in the right direction right now, which is good.
Gymnast Maggie Nichols is with us on the Shell Penzo Performance Line at Spain and Company on ESPN Radio. I found this documentary to also very much point out the necessity of local news and dogged reporters who are willing to keep pushing for the facts and the information, and to do so in a way that respects people in really difficult positions, like so many of the young women who wanted to report Larry Nassar. When you're working with folks on telling your story and having it retold, what's the toughest part about that? Reliving the incidents or being curious about how people will react? Because I know several of the gymnasts in the documentary talked about the awful response from people on social media to them coming forward with their stories.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the hardest things is it kind of rekindles a lot of like the old memories and the hard times that happened to us. So having to talk about it a lot and things like that, it's been difficult, but I definitely have gotten a lot stronger with that and gotten better with that as well. But yeah, also, when you are telling your story and something that is so sensitive, you do wonder what people are going to think and what people are going to say. But I mean, you just have to be strong and know that you're not alone, and no matter what anyone says, that you're doing the right thing.
Maggie, how difficult is it when you realize that there was such a high number of girls and women that were impacted by this in horrific ways, and they were all coming out, and yet this story wasn't registering on the national scale that it should have long before it actually did with this
just horrific man. I mean, horrifying is the word that continues to come up. But how much angst does that kind of bring out in you that this took so long to become a focal point story that we're all talking about?
Yeah, you know, it breaks my heart and it makes me very angry at the same time. Just knowing that, you know, if they would have made change and, you know, reported it immediately, you know, it just makes me wonder how many girls would have been saved from this man and once has been, you know, abused and things like that. So it's very heartbreaking and very upsetting knowing that, you know, the people that were supposed to take care of us didn't report such horrible events and things like that. And just knowing that so many girls could have been saved.
Maggie Nichols recently finished her career at OU. Absolutely dominant, probably the greatest athlete in the history of the school, even though, as we know, most of the time, female athletes don't get that title, even if you're just absolutely crushing it. Your senior season cut short by coronavirus. What was that like for you, and how did you sort of reconcile that with the, you know, get past the disappointment of that?
Yeah, you know, it was very disappointing and heartbreaking as well, just knowing that, you know, I didn't get that, you know, last salute and things like that. But, you know, with the circumstances, that kind of eases my mind knowing that, you know, I don't know, just eases my mind a little bit with the circumstances. But, you know, I think that the way my team ended and the way I ended, you know, really helps me too. And I kind of get upset that we didn't get to go to like nationals and things like that because my team started number one and then ended number one. And then I think I was number one in the all around too. So, you know, things like that are kind of things that.
You know you were. You know
Flex
you were
on 'em.
still
Flex.
ranked number one in the nation in the all-around, number one in the nation on the vault, looking for a second straight championship,
She
looking
thinks.
for your third straight all-around national title. Basically the MJ of college gymnastics.
We appreciate the humility, though.
Thank
Maggie.
you.
We really do.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
is this it? So coaching now probably? That's the way that your involvement in gymnastics continues?
Yes, I am going to, you know, be the student coach next year with KJ, Lou, and Tom. So I'm really excited to be on the other side of gymnastics. So that'd be really cool. And then also doing a few other things as well, which would be awesome.
Oh, it sounds like a tease. We look forward to hearing about that. Maggie, thank you so much for the time. This was an incredible documentary. You're so courageous and brave for doing it and for, like you said, being willing to do it to help all those out there who are going to be inspired by you telling your story and being so strong. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Gymnast Maggie Nichols with us here on Spain and Company. If you haven't seen Athlete A yet on Netflix, really, really recommend it. Coming up, a Bucks player who's looking to put a very high-risk teammate, Tom Brady, at risk with an event that needs to be called off. Plus, this Blue Jays punishment, it's pretty severe. We'll get into that, too. It's coming up next, ESPN Radio.
The new ESPN app, now with ESPN Plus. Baseball, hockey, soccer, and college football. You want more? I hope so. Because with Plus, you get new films, shows, and docs. The new ESPN app. Download now and sign up for ESPN Plus today.
There are people who say things aren't made here anymore. Those people should make a trip to Michigan, or Kentucky, or Illinois, where you'll find our workers and dealers and engineers and technicians building at the Ford Motor Company, the same way we have for over a century, in the same place, for the same reason. Built for America.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend my Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. But thankfully, there's HomeAdvisor. HomeAdvisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. You can read reviews of the pros, check their availability, even book appointments online. And what my wife loves most is that HomeAdvisor is completely free to use.
Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app to get started. HomeAdvisor.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies, and rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, for a man age 45 non-tobacco user, it's $1 million of coverage at $75 per month, level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. Remember, 1-866-929-1950. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes for preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Welcome to Bowl! Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. You know, snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
For your ridiculous facts, I'm JP. During the 1904 Summer Olympics in St. Louis, the American Frederick Loers was the first to reach the finish line of the marathon race. It turned out, however, that he had covered about half the distance by car. Sneaky, sneaky. When Chinese basketball player Yao Ming first appeared for his new team in Houston, it was celebrated with 8,000 fortune cookies which were distributed to the fans. Ming was quite surprised as he had never seen a fortune cookie in his life, as fortune cookies are not Chinese, but an American invention. Nice try, Houston. Nice try. That's your ridiculous facts. I'm JP.
In Pensacola, local and national sports live here. Catch the play-by-play of every game of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos and your national champion West Florida Argonauts football team. Your local high school football games during football season are here, along with the best local sports talk in the biz with Talk Football and the Sports Drive weekdays and Sports Call every Saturday. When it comes to sports radio, there's only one place, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. This is Northwest Florida's all sports, all the time station. From Destin to New Orleans, sports fans come here for ESPN and local sports talk. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Company, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM channel 80. Sarah Spain, Jordan Cornette with you. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. So, scrolling in between commercial breaks once our show started, I saw this story that caught my eye on TMZ. Don't have a lot of details yet, but it doesn't sound great. Buccaneers player Devin White is hosting his second annual trail ride in Louisiana on Saturday. This is a charity event, which is great, but Rona don't stop for the charities. So according to the mayor of the town, Cotton Valley, Louisiana, CeCe Cox, 2,000 people are expected on the property, and no COVID-19 precautions are required or will be enforced. Louisiana State Troopers and the Webster Parish Sheriff's Office will work the party but will not enforce social distancing guidelines. You just got to accept it, Cox said. I'm ready for it. No immediate response from the Bucs or White. We saw this story similarly about Lamar Jackson hosting a charity event on the beach.